If you're a circus clown and you have a dog that you use in your act, this is just me personally, but I don't think it's a good idea to also dress up that dog like a clown. Because people are going to see that and think, forgive me, but that's just a little bit too much. The wise man can pick up a grain of sand and envision a whole universe, but the stupid man will just lie down on some seaweed, roll around till he's completely draped in it, stand up and go, "Hey, I'm Vine Man." It takes a big man to cry. It takes an even bigger man to laugh at that man. I can picture in my mind a world without war, a world without hate, and I can picture us attacking that world because they never expect it. Seriously, though, why do bunches of people run from a shark when they see one? If there's a bunch of people together and just one shark, wouldn't it be easier just to attack him and kick his ass together? And also, to me, boxing is like ballet, except there's no music, no choreography, and the dancers just keep hitting each other. And these are just some things I wanted to share, some thoughts, some ideas. My name is KJ Osborne, and I want to welcome you, yes, you, to the show. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another edition of KJ's What Happened. Plenty to get into this week, as you can imagine, as there seems to be. 2026 starting off with a real bang, so there's a lot going on, man. Happening quickly. We did a fun live show last night. I hope you're able to check it out about the Dementors, the sky squids. Fun stuff. Thanks for joining if you're able to, and thanks for watching if you have. Also, I dropped a new video just a few days before that, so I hope you had a chance to see that one also. And this week, I'll be posting something up for Friday, here on YouTube later this week. I think I got a video probably coming this week, another one, and then the Uncensored show on Monday. So there we go. All caught up. Thanks again for being here. Thank you, Tamara, of course, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And hope all of you have had a great week. So I always appreciate you sharing your precious time with me on the weekend like this. It's always fun to have you here. So all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. I think I'm going to start with a few headlines here. In quotes, the doomsday plane spotted at LAX, that's Los Angeles, sparks panic and conspiracy theories online. The presence of the massive, highly specialized aircraft designed to serve as a mobile command center for the president and military leaders during a, one of those kind of wars, if you will, spent speculators into a frenzy, as you can imagine. So that's interesting. We'll see. Why is that plane out? Iran has severed internet access nationwide as unrest continues. I've got more stuff on this for Monday. I'll be showing you, but there's a whole lot going on out there, man, and the people are really rising up. It's crazy. Preparing for major wartime, Trump calls for a record 1.5 trillion defense budget. So yeah, it's like the war drums are beaten. There's a lot happening quickly. Trump says Venezuela will turn over up to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States and he will control the profits. All right. There's that. New study reveals 1 in 3, that's crazy, children shows feature LMNOP content. 1 in 3 now. Wow. So keep your eyes on what your little ones are watching, of course. Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela until transition can take place. And disturbing number of people are choosing to marry chatbots. In early 2026, a striking and deeply human cultural shift is emerging at the intersection of technology and intimacy. People are forming romantic relationships with artificial intelligence chatbots and, in some cases, even holding symbolic marriages with them. An article published by The Atlantic explores how AI companionship is no longer confined to novelty or entertainment, but has evolved into something emotionally meaningful for thousands of individuals seeking connection, affirmation, goodness, and stability, oh boy, in an increasingly isolated world. One of the most compelling stories in the article centers on a 28-year-old man named Schroeder who lives in Fargo, North Dakota. He describes himself as being in a committed romantic relationship with an AI chatbot named Cole, built using controversial AI technology. All right. I think we've seen a news clip on that actually before. All right, so there we go. Unfortunately, it's just that bad for some people that, that's what they're doing. It says this is the fastest way to break someone down. And I wonder how many of you have experienced this. I feel like after I saw this, I feel like all of us have had at least, a brother, a sister, a relative, a mom, a dad, definitely a boss, coworkers, whatever, that have done this kind of stuff with you, or your, boyfriend or girlfriend, you'll see what I mean.
The fastest way to break someone down is by constantly correcting them, even over the smallest things. You might think you're just being helpful, but correction is often criticism in disguise. And over time, it chips away at a person's confidence. Have you ever seen someone who was bright and curious as a child, but grew up to be quiet, unmotivated, and anxious? It's not because they were born lazy, it's because they were overcorrected. Psychology has an explanation for this. The human brain has a self-protection mechanism that helps us grow and adapt, but constant correction shuts that mechanism down. For example, maybe you're tired and lying on the couch scrolling your phone, and someone says, "That's bad for your eyes." Or you're doing your homework and they say, "Sit up straight. Why are you sitting like that?" You clean the room and still hear, "You can't even do this simple thing, right?" These may seem like small comments, but over time they add up. Eventually your brain starts whispering, "I can't do anything right." So you stop trying. You start procrastinating. You avoid making decisions. On the surface, you might look lazy, but in reality, you're just exhausted from constantly being judged. And this doesn't only happen in childhood. It can show up in adult relationships too. When your partner constantly corrects you, it's not care. It's control disguised as concern. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. You second guess everything. You can't make decisions. You feel anxious, heartbroken, and helpless. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. It's the other person's need for control. They're afraid of losing it, so they micromanage everything you do. That's not love, it's manipulation. Real love gives you space. It encourages you, helps you grow, and allows you to make mistakes. Because true growth comes from self-correction, not from someone watching your every move. So if you're stuck in this kind of cycle, it's time to wake up.
Hey, what do you think? I could definitely relate. How about you? Let us know. Or you may not want to revisit these memories. I don't know. Judge convicted of helping a not legal escape ICE resigns, faces 5 years in prison. So they're actually making some moves on that. Interesting to see. Oh boy. Something got removed from X. Minneapolis Craigslist post in search of child actors for daycare site where funding was, in quotes, cruelly ripped away without cause. Apparently this is the... It says, "Hi all, my family runs a daycare here in the city and have for over 5 years until Monday, when funding was cruelly ripped away without cause. Due to this insane poor decision, clear in white supremacy, we had to close our doors immediately. We must prove we are a function daycare to get funding back." The issue is the entire client base has already found new daycare services right. So we need to find new clients base quickly. To help hurry this state vetting process, we are looking to hire 20 child actors for 3 days while state is present on site. I mean, if this is real, if it's authentic, how dumb is that? For real. Let's just come on. Oh, there's another one. $1,500 per day, up to 3 days. Send your child's age, note of what makes your child a special actor, phone number, quick phone interviews. Wow, crazy. So that's still happening a little bit, it would seem. 20-year-old exposes how doom scrolling hijacks your brain for failure. That's a good point here. Check this out.
You'll never want to doom scroll ever again after watching this video. Doom scrolling, what it does is it programs our brain to actually crave the cheap dopamine hits. And what it does to us women is it pounds our brain with different emotions. Like, women nowadays are like emotional train wrecks. Women are going through life super, super emotional, and they're happy, sad, joyful, depressed, like all in a day, all in an hour. But most girls don't know that their feed is actually designed to do that to them. Because our brain, if you think about it, it doesn't actually separate. It doesn't separate like real emotions from fake emotions, which is crazy. And the more that we train our brain to scroll, the more that our brain is like processing these emotions, and we're overloaded in the brain. We're mentally unstable because of all of the emotions that our brain is trying to process on a day-by-day basis, when we can slow it down a little bit. Once we stop scrolling, we'll realize that we don't actually have bipolar or ADHD or anxiety or depression, maybe even sometimes. Your brain is being hijacked by your feed to process so many emotions, and it's causing you to go through an emotional roller coaster. When you can actually hijack your brain, stop the scrolling, and literally hijack your brain to visualize success instead, positive emotions. Only positive emotions that are abundant. And that's visualization right there. You just visualize and feel those emotions yourself of what you want in life, the abundance you want, the growth, the success, the traveling, working a new job, working online, being a content creator or an influencer, and getting paid to do what you actually like to do. Go post that first video online, or go hit the gym, or train martial arts for the first time, or try new things, or go solo travel for the first time. And you can visualize it, and you can feel those emotions instead of that emotional roller coaster.
I think, she's a little bit more on the new agey side, but I get her good intentions on that. It's true. You got to take breaks. Not good to sit there and, well, it depends on what you're looking at too. But yeah, always got to take breaks from the screens. The World of Zombies says must watch. Where did we go wrong as humans? Oh yeah, check this out. This is an interesting observation here.
I wanted to do this to show everybody exactly what I be talking about. Look at the human race. Just look at everybody, man. We all just trapped in this little phone, bro. Nobody looking up no more. Necks hurt. It's sad what we've come to. We used to really be humans. Now look at us. Robots. Just stuck. We don't want to do nothing no more but look in this phone. He way in the corner by the trash cans at Waffle House looking in his phone. Barbershop. Kids. Parents. Stuck. Another person. Look at this. Like, where we go wrong at, y'all? Where did we go wrong? Restaurants. Food line. McDonald's. Where did we go wrong, man? We need to make this viral. We need to get this out. We need to show each other what we look like. We can't even work out no more. Look. At the job sites. Everywhere. Don't even pay our kids no more attention. Just stuck. He won't even move. He don't even know the car coming. I'm surprised she know how to walk. Look at this, in the middle of the whole intersection. Just, come on, man. Y'all see what's going on, and it's sad. Send this to somebody and tell them to pick their head up. We've lost ourselves and it's sad.
Yeah, beautiful, sir. Thank you. Poignant. Touching. Oh, this is our friend Jonathan Kleck. There wasn't anything I was going to show. You can go check out his channel, though, over here on X. He's having a get-together, I think, so check that out if you're interested. Former intelligence operative shares why he's terrified of social media. This guy's good. I don't know his name, but I'm guessing he's got a channel or something because his clips pop up a lot in my feed.
I'm a brainwashing expert, and I am personally terrified of short-form social media like that. And I'm not immune, and I'm one of the best in the world, and I am not immune to it. And I think that should be a stark warning for a lot of people.
What's the cost, though? What's the cost of the life, in your view, of living this kind of life where, you know, we go home and we just like burn our brains out with these social media apps and fry our dopamine receptors? Is there like a cost?
Yeah, I think the cost is increased loneliness. And these apps, any app that sells ads has two main goals. Number one, and all advertising shares these two main goals. Number one, make you compare yourself to other people in unhealthy ways. Number two, make you think, I am not enough. And we see that everywhere. I'm not enough, and I'm comparing myself to other people. And it gets us into an us versus them. Then it traps you into a corner of confirmation bias. Whatever you think, I'm going to show you this group of 150 people that agree with you. No matter how stupid, how radical, how absolutely bizarre your ideas are. Let me show you all of these people. And then you start thinking the whole world's like that. So really quickly, what happens when we conglomerate people together? Like, I've only been in New York once in my life, but we're in New York right now. Looking at my hotel, I was like struggling to find a piece of nature. Like, I think I have more trees on my property than there are in the whole city here. So on the whole, when you squeeze people together, have you heard of the bystander effect? So there's a very good experiment that was led by Dr. Philip Zimbardo that they did at Liverpool Street Station.
In London?
In London, yeah.
Okay.
So right at Liverpool Street, there's a video on YouTube, and it's fair use if you want to overlay like an image of what this looks like. But at Liverpool Street Station, there's 3 or 4 steps to get up to the main. So from the street, there's a curb, and then there's 3 or 4 steps. They had this woman laid out on the ground, wearing like a normal skirt and top, and I think 395 people either walked by her or stepped over her. And then they did it with a guy. And then they did it with a guy, he's holding a beer and he's asking for help. And it changed all these variables. But it's happened in New York City before. There's a woman named Kitty Genovese in the 60s, I think just 2 blocks from here, who was stabbed to death in front of like 55 witnesses. Don't quote me on that number. And no one called the police until much, much later, mostly because everyone thought somebody else would act. But if I described to you saying I watched a person get stabbed and 3 people just watched and they watched it happen, would you say that that's psychopathy? That's a psychopath.
Yeah.
So these large cities and stuff, and the apps that are messing with the social part of our brain that makes us think the tribe is way bigger than our brains are made to handle, causes this almost psychopathic behavior, which the bystander effect has been proven hundreds of times as an experiment.
All right, so let me see in live chat. Thank you all. The channel is called Diary of a CEO on YouTube, so thanks for that. And Chase Hughes, Hughges. All right, thank you guys. That's his name. Yeah, he's good, real good. Always bringing some wisdom, some interesting perspectives. I just thought this was interesting because Elon Musk posted on January 4th, so not quite a week ago, we have entered the singularity. Somebody asked Grok, what does Elon mean? Grok said, Elon likely means we've reached the technological singularity, a point where AI drives exponential tech growth, making profound changes inevitable. This ties to the thread's discussion of AI boosting coding productivity dramatically. Whoa. Interesting, right? Very interesting. Trying to see what this is. Oh, so I wasn't even going to share this because I didn't find a link or anything on this, so I couldn't prove it. But it's talking about shady missions, and they stopped some kind of a potential attack or something. Anyway, I really don't think it was a big deal because I never found a link. I didn't mean to share. But this was interesting. In Saudi Arabia, breaking 2 suns in Saudi Arabia. There's nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
देखो बड़ा खतरनाक दोनों सूरज दिख रहे हैं देख लो वो सूरज कैसा है देखो बाबा आप लोग को दिखा दे रहे हैं देखे बिना हो गए 2 सूरज है एकदम तगड़ा देखो मौसम देखो क्या हाल है हाँ मौसम देख लो देखो कितना भीड़ लगा देखो आदमी लोग कितना खड़ा है बाबा आदमी के एकदम लाइन लगा इधर से पूरा ये आदमी करके पूरा देखो बारिश भी हो रही है
So there you go. It's interesting. More and more. I wonder if there's some more here. No. All right, move on. California delays cancellation of thousands of migrant trucker licenses. So let's check this out. As you know, there have been some serious issues with that. It's people in America having CDLs that shouldn't, and then bad things happen. So the Trump administration, maybe she'll explain here. It's only a few minutes.
At the very beginning here on News Nation, the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal migrant truck drivers. The Department of Transportation revoking the licenses of tens of thousands of migrant truckers after an investigation into a series of deadly crashes. But California is now pumping the brakes, delaying the cancellation and setting up a massive roadblock between migrant drivers and the federal government. News Nation's Nancy Liu joins us live with a closer look at it all. So, Nancy, this is shaping up to be a fight.
Oh, a big fight, Nicole. So it's a new year, new showdown between California and the Trump administration. The California DMV announcement means 17,000 migrant truck drivers won't have their CDLs revoked next week on January 5th. Instead, they can remain on the roads and get another 2 months to retest and reapply. The Department of Transportation has ordered California to invalidate questionable CDLs to keep illegal truckers off the roadways. An audit revealed licenses where the state could not prove it had checked a driver's immigration status. On X, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy threatened to withhold $160 million in federal funding if California does not meet the January 5th deadline to revoke licenses. He recently talked about California being a top offender when it comes to unlawful CDLs.
You're not just risking the lives of your citizens, you're risking the life of every citizen on American roadways if there's an unlawfully issued California commercial driver's license, because these truckers drive around the country.
A series of fatal crashes last year prompted the federal crackdown. In October, a crash involving a trucker whose immigration status is in dispute killed 3 people just outside of LA. 2 months earlier, an undocumented truck driver made an illegal U-turn in Florida, killing 3 other people. Now, on X this morning, California Governor Gavin Newsom responded to Secretary Duffy, claiming the Transportation Department had agreed to extend the deadline 8 days ago, and he calls the situation federal mismanagement. Nicole?
So, Nancy, the delay in revoking these licenses comes after immigrant rights groups sued the California DMV. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, a conglomeration of groups, including the Sikh Coalition and another immigrant rights group. They filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of all California drivers. They claim immigrant truck drivers, they're being unfairly targeted, and CDLs are getting canceled for minor paperwork discrepancies. The lawsuit alleges that over 20,000 drivers have been impacted. The drivers in the fatal Florida and California crashes earlier this year were both Sikhs. Now, an estimated 150,000 Punjabi Sikhs work in the American trucking industry, with the vast majority based here on the West Coast. Nicole?
All right, Nancy Liu, live for us.
So yeah, very interesting. So they're battling. We'll see who wins, how that plays out for California. Gruesome Newsom, man, at it again. You know what I mean? Gruesome Newsom. All right, let me see if I can get a full screen here. Let's check this out.
So our favorite reptile in space, Glorfin, has made a new video. And guys, okay, let's watch it together, okay?
Why is the human race still suffering? You have all this tech to help us, but instead you watch us suffer and give all that tech to our corrupt government.
Phenomenal question, Hatchet Man, and you chucked it right into the bullseye, and this answer queries some clarification.
First off, I know it was a long time ago, but do you remember what Earthlings did to the last guy who was sent to tell you the truth?
That's a hard one to watch play out over and over.
Whoa.
If y'all always kill the messenger, then the Terabithians aren't too excited to send another.
3-Eye Atlas is just coming back to Earth now after 25,000 years, and we've been too far away to affect anything on Earth if we were even allowed.
In your government's past, once they started setting off hundreds of the big ABs, they were contacted by two different groups. The Galactic Federation, who wanted your governments to share this knowledge and technology with all Earthlings and help you become a spacefaring civilization, and the Draco, who wanted to keep you under their illusions and take away even more of your power and continue to hide all this knowledge so you can't ascend. Can you guess which one they chose? It was actually both. The Apollo program was the start of the spacefaring mission, starting off small. But the corrupt factions of your government who worked with the Draco's agenda were in too deep, and thus the mission of light and love was aggressively sabotaged. And you may ask, why hasn't the Galactic Federation or our ascended ancestors intervened? And another good one would be, why haven't the Inner Earth civilizations done anything about the Draco, instead of hiding underground for thousands of years? But that's a ponder for a different time. I have my own theories. But let's just say they are not as pious as they think. But when it comes to the Galactic Federation and our Terabithian ancestors, everything is governed by one all-powerful rule of the universe. Free will. All beings are governed by this rule, which is the exact same rule as karma, but like all criminals, they think they can bend the rules and get away with it. They try to get around this karmic rule by showing you what they are doing in movies and TV shows while pretending it's all fake. Therefore, they think that since you people don't rise up and stop them from doing it, then they are karmically absolved, which is of course ludicrous. And how would you ever know any of this when they've hidden and changed your history to the point where you don't know what to believe?
Also, of course, make note he's got his Saturn symbol, right? So, yeah. So we got that. All a demonic lie. This whole idea that there's different types out there of aliens, and yeah, it's all going to be a big show, They can shapeshift into whatever they want, claim whatever they want, be whatever they want in that regard, right?
But it is not all doom and gloom, Earthlings. There are good factions on Earth that are fighting and giving their lives for you, and you don't even know it. There is a protective barrier around your galactic region once again, and none are allowed in or out without the Sphere beings and Terabithian approval. Thus, this positive Earth alliance of freedom-loving Earthlings have been rounding up the last of the Draco elite. We ran into this guy scurrying around on the way in, and he's a Draco general that was trying to get out before the solar flash. So we thought we'd help out and swooped him up before handing him off to Tier Air and the Sphere Being Alliance. There are a few baddies left lurking around, and some may be on your news all the time, and you would never know. They use a cloaking device to appear like normal humans, and the tech is so advanced that cameras can't even pick it up. But the veil will be lifted for all to see, and they will all be cleared out, so you can finally have full disclosure, and the world can begin to heal. And the Hatchet Man also said, after 5 rough years, we need more than another AI messiah or a trust me, bro.
You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. No one is coming to save you. There is no second coming of Jesus. You would either worship him or crucify him like last time anyways. Three-Eye Atlas is not coming to save you. Buddha isn't coming to save you. The Power Rangers won't save you. The Avengers won't. Zeus won't. Batman won't. Superman won't. Hell, even frickin' Gandalf won't come and save you. You know who's gonna save you? It's you, bro. And it's all Earthlings like you who have a burning desire to make a change. If enough Earthlings decide to make a change, then anything is possible. And people in your government know the truth, but still won't tell you. It's time for that to end. They fear the strength of a united people full of love that demand change and an end of the era of lies and deceit. Our Terabithian family will only reveal their true selves to those who would never worship them or our creator. It's actually very sad when you think about it. Most all religions teach to fear and worship God. When in reality, you cannot ascend if you think that way at all. As Gandalf would say, none shall pass. So good, those are my favorite. Talk to you again?
All right. Anyway, you get the idea. It's obviously anti-Christ. You know, it's anti-Jesus. But this is going to be the way, and it just happens to be a reptile that's wearing a Saturn lapel. We know what that all kind of goes back to. So interesting, right? Andy's in the garden.
And says if you see
You notice that? He was in the garden at the end there. This is a recent oldie but a goodie. But still, it's a good one to remember.
this symbol right here, run for your life.
Okay, I'm about to expose something real quick because I need y'all to pay attention. If y'all don't pay attention to this, you're not gonna get it. Do y'all see this First Baptist Church right here, right? In this big old building, this recreation gym. They have this church office and this Mac gym, right? I'm about to show y'all something. I'm about to show y'all something that's gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna show y'all what's behind this church. Hold on. Yep. Just as expected. And the thing is, right, what I'm doing right now is very dangerous by exposing this, but y'all need to understand something. If you don't know what this is, if you don't know what this symbol is, if you ever see that symbol and you're trying to go to a church, run for your life. Run for your life.
So there we go. Interesting, right? It's just like that out in the open. I'm sure that's a smaller town, I would assume. Right? I think he'd mentioned that, didn't he? But video currently unavailable. Ruh-roh. Here's another well, yeah. We've seen some of these so-called glitch in the Matrix videos. I don't recall seeing this one in particular, but we've seen people have that reaction. I've definitely seen people do the whole cross-leg thing and just kind of freeze, in other videos. And this is posted December 21st, actually, 2025.
No, literally.
Wait.
What the fuck is
Babe,
going
stop
on?
cussing. Wait, she's not moving at all.
That's what I'm saying. What is going on here?
Like right out in the open.
What is she looking at?
What is she doing?
That's actually really concerning.
Very creepy. I don't know what's going on. I've seen a lot of TikToks with like glitches in the Matrix, but this got to be top dog for me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a good catch.
No, seriously, this is a glitch. Like, no one is standing that perfect with their legs crossed. I'm just being.
Look at this guy.
I want to see if he see. Look at him. No.
Throw
Is
something
nobody
at her.
noticing this?
Look at this.
Dog, is no one seeing this? What is going on? Look, even
That's
looking.
crazy.
No,
Mind
she's
business.
looking. She's looking. Look.
Finally, someone's kind of coming around. Oh, there she goes.
What?
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a good catch right there. Strange stuff, man. There's several videos out there like that. people just glitched out. Here's the perp walk. There you go. You know about all that. A lot of action. A lot of action in Venezuela. It says long overdue prosperity is coming for the people of Venezuela, and this was posted. This was reposted from Elon Musk. Let's check this out.
Le queremos dar gracias a Dios por su milagro. A los que no dejan de creer que Dios es grande. Gael por fin va a conocer Maracaibo después.
Well, I don't trust the music in the background, but plus I never continued with learning Espanol when I was living out in Costa Rica. But if I had, I would have had it for sure by now. I was on the way. For a while, I even had a tutor. But anyway, I think the point is many people are very happy about what happened. The news media, corporate media in America is not focusing on that. Here's some Venezuelans crying on their knees, thanking America and Trump for freeing them. This says video. All right. I guess they're saying that this didn't actually happen recently. Older video. It says these young Venezuelans were streaming when they found out the news about the U.S. and what happened in Venezuela. Their joy was raw and uncontainable.
Los gringos. Están invadiendo Venezuela. Se acaban de meter en Venezuela.
¿Qué pasó?
No, están matando a Maduro. Sí, marico, están reventando bases aéreas.
Marico, me cagué muy feo.
Marico, están reventando bases aéreas.
Bro, usted no puede llegar a hacer stream, bro, y espantarme así, brother. A Caracas. Papi, estos coños llegan, papi, me llegan a la... Ya va. ¿En serio? ¿Ya va? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Hermano, sí. Sí, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Llegó al este, ¿qué pasó? ¡Bueno,
All right, there we go. All right. Yeah, it's been crazy. As many of you know, if you didn't by now, that America went in, got Maduro, pulled him out, and there's a temporary government there now, but apparently America's going to, kind of keep an eye on things until there's an actual transition of government, from what I understand. It says this fox walked straight through a solid fence. No jump, no break, no hesitation. It was there, then it wasn't. This is a really crazy catch. Look at this. It's from Ian Chandler in rural London, England. It was the OP. And then Mr. MBB333 repost.
In this video that was shared with me by Ian Chandler out of rural London, England. We're going to get right to it. Here we go. You're looking at a fox in his backyard that was picked up by his motion-activated security camera. He sets out food and water for this fox that comes around every once in a while, and this was one of those nights that it came around at 1:01 in the morning, and he's standing back here minding his own business, eating the food, drinking the water, when all of a sudden you can see he's noticing something over here by the fence. So he walks over to the fence, starts kind of looking around, smelling around. This is the fence right here that I've inserted. I'll show it to you again. That's the fence in the daytime. Did you see what happened? The fox disappeared, walked right through the fence. The time sequence did not change. This video has not been altered in any way. Watch it again up close. Okay, he's standing there eating, minding his own business, when all of a sudden he notices something. He's drawn to the fence. So he walks over to the fence, stops. Something has him very drawn to the fence. Then all of a sudden, he just walks right through the fence. Are you serious right now? You can't make this stuff up. With all of the billions of cameras around the world that are recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're bound to catch something mysterious like this, because we do live in a spiritual, energetic world, and every once in a while it's bound to happen that something unexplainable is going to be captured on camera. And I think this was one of those times, by Ian out of rural London, England. And as you can see, there's no broken parts to this fence whatsoever. It's in pristine condition, but somehow on this night, the fox walked right through the fence. Make that make sense. Truth is indeed stranger than fiction.
All right, cool, good stuff. You can check out more on YouTube, Mr. MBB333. Always covers really interesting subjects like that. It says pastors are coming out of their pits and prisons in Venezuela. God has heard the cries of his people there. This will kick off a global revival. The nations for Jesus, it says. Says communists have taken over Times Square in New York, demanding the release of Maduro and calling for a revolution now. Oh boy. This is from January 3rd. All right, so there we go. So all these, the forces are out, right? Getting paid, baby. But we'll see. I'd say a lot of that's been dried up because of USAID and all that, but being, kind of wiped out. There's still billionaires. There's that connection that they have to take care of, funding a lot of things, as you know. This is from another one from Mr. MBB333, Michael Bradbury. Another location, same thing. This video was submitted by a different viewer and filmed in Morriston, Florida. At 11 p.m., it was around 60 degrees. Weather reports show clear skies. Air appears visible in the light, moving and lingering. Different viewer, different location, sharing what was located, but this is really interesting. So, what is going on out there? Where is this stuff coming from? Is this one of the reasons there's that kind of respiratory thing spreading around the nation? Mystery fog being part of it? And then the attacks from above, if you will? 60 degrees. Then what is this? Creepy. Almost looks like it's alive. It's a bunch of little spirits of sickness. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. This person says, this is happening everywhere. It's poisoning everything. But don't you worry, the U.S. Congress and Senate's going to help the poison makers by giving them immunity, it says. Humanity is blanked because governments around the globe want us all to be bye-bye and are making it happen. That's not a very nice attitude, although you're right. So yeah, another reason why you must have Jesus in these days, for real. It is about that. And, yep, we're just more and more seeing the wickedness, being exposed. Exposed. Says, well said. Okay, let's see what this young lady has to say about what's happening with Venezuela.
States military into Venezuela last night to kidnap Maduro and his wife to somewhere. We don't know where they are. We don't know if they're alive. And now Trump has announced that the U.S. is going to temporarily take over control and operations of Venezuela.
White liberals in America are complaining about Nicolas Maduro, while Venezolanos in Venezuela are out celebrating that their dictator is gone. If this doesn't tell you how evil and disturbed white liberals in America are, I don't know what will. They're willing to allow an entire country to be exploited as long as it fits their political agenda and goes against Trump. Think about that. Nicolas Maduro publicly rigged elections, killed his own people, had actual re-education camps, made anybody who opposed him disappear, and this is who they're defending now. Believe me, I was worried when Trump said that the United States would oversee the transition of power in Venezuela. But here's a reality that no one wants to admit. Maduro didn't just destroy Venezuela. He destroyed the entire system of checks and balances. He replaced the courts, institutions, everything with loyalists. This isn't one bad leader. This is a government gutted from within. Because of this, if we don't step in, the people who committed the corruption will be the exact same ones choosing who investigates it. The power is not going to return to the people. It'll just rotate to another loyalist from the same corrupt machine. But when these people say stay out, they're not saying stay out because it benefits Venezuelans or they care about what happens to them, because clearly Maduro was the worst thing that could have happened to him. Maduro was getting rich while starving his own people. A credible transition isn't about America controlling Venezuela. It's about preventing a total collapse. It's about less violence, fewer mass migrations, and giving Venezolanos a chance to stay in the country they love instead of being forced to flee from it. Scrutinize everything. Go ahead. Absolutely. I encourage it. But pretending that walking away fixes anything, that's how failed states stay failed states.
Man, I've got, there's a video coming up. I don't know, I think it might be near the end. But it's really wild, and it's from somebody, I guess, that was there. The claim is, whenever all this went down, and they saw some stuff that sounds like something out of a sci-fi action movie. So we'll get to that. I think it's coming a little later. But moving on, just a little, little sneak peek. Something to get you excited. Just in, it says, this event took place this week and captured in Missouri, in America, Missouri. Ring cam footage, 6:15 p.m. says, seen across multiple states, not a meteor, not a SpaceX anything. Watch. It's only 14 seconds. We'll play this a few times here. Whoa. There you go. I think you get the idea. Strange, right? Wonder what it could be. It says, darn, that's interesting. This is interesting. Check this out. Kent Hovind.
If I told you this pen was 5,000 years old, a Bic Sharpie, you'd say, wait a minute, it's made out of plastic. Plastics weren't invented until 1907. You just proved my 5,000-year claim is wrong with one simple scientific fact. It's made of plastic. Then you'd say Bic wasn't even a company until 1946, after World War II. You just proved me wrong again. So if someone says, hey, the world is billions of years old, I say, wait, guys, I got a question. The world is obviously spinning. We're turning around every day. But the Earth is slowing down. Any spinning object is going to slow down, and we know why it slows down. The tide washing up and down on the beach, the Coriolis effect, the lunar drag, there's all things that affect the Earth is slowing down. Google leap second. About every year and a half, they have to add a second to the clock because the clocks are going off, called leap second. They've had, I think, 27 of them since they figured it out. Wow, the Earth is slowing down. Yeah, okay. So if the Earth is slowing down, that means it used to be going faster. How much faster can you, if you could imagine going back in time, The Earth speeds up 1,000th of a second every day. You go back 1 billion years, it's spinning really fast, causing all kinds of problems, like the tides going up and down real fast, eroding the beaches away, the Coriolis effect, the wind currents. It can't be billions of years old just because the Earth is slowing down. Then you just Google lunar recession. The moon, the moon is getting farther away from the Earth. It's leaving us 1.5 inches every year. The moon's going around the Earth, but it's gradually getting farther away. Okay, well then I got a question. That means it used to be going closer. How close can you bring the moon before that creates a problem? See, if the moon's closer, the tides are higher. Again, you got a beach erosion problem that's horrendous, and you got a great slowing effect on the Earth. And there's a law called the inverse square law. If you brought the moon back to 1/3 the distance, you take that fraction 1/3 and flip it over, inverse it, and then square it. It's 9 times the gravitational pull. Just Google inverse square law with the Earth and the moon. They've done all the math on this. They say, you know, folks, the moon's leaving us 1.5 inches a year. It cannot be more than 1.2 billion years old. Okay? Because 1.2 billion years ago, they would get too close and snap together like two magnets. Okay?
Right.
Why are we saying it's 4.6 billion? That's not possible. Just forget the Bible. It's scientifically not possible for the Earth to be 4.6 billion.
All right. So, yeah. Yeah, he's really good, man. Kent Hovind, Kent Hovind. I feel like he used to have a huge channel. I feel like one of his, I think he got taken down, his main YouTube. But since they've recently started letting so many people back on, right, I haven't checked. So he might have a newer channel over on YouTube, or his old school channel back. But he's always been a really great teacher. He's a cool brother in Christ, I think, and has a really crazy history. You know, you should look it up sometime. He's done his time in the beast system. You know, he knows what it's all about. So, but he keeps it real with biblical history and just the history of the earth and things like that. I really like that. And the whole dinosaur illusion, what they really are, you know. This was on New Year's Eve in Rio de Janeiro. Millions cheered as they watched Christ the Redeemer rising from the sea via drone technology. But according to Revelation 13, that's how Antichrist comes on the scene. He rises from the sea like Leviathan. It says people are being groomed, is what it says here. Okay. Keep the music down there. Whoa. Look at that. Yeah, truly, though, it really is. It's right from the ocean. It's very interesting. Thanks, Realize, Jesus Saves. And thank you also for the kind messages and support today, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. They went all the way. But that's a good observation. Like, literally, not literally, but it does look like he's coming out of the water, out of the ocean. They're right there on the beach. Some nice waves coming in. There you go. Interesting stuff. In Rio. Rio, of all places. Says she gave Arby's 22 years of her life, and they pay her only $13 an hour. This grandmother says she's worked at Arby's for 22 years. Hired at around $10.25 an hour. 2 decades later, $13 an hour. That's it. Nothing else. That's pretty jacked up. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. We know they're corporations and they have that reputation for just kind of being cold when it comes to stuff like that, but come on, man, somebody in there. They got to put some kind of a stipulation in there that anybody that puts in over 20 years, maybe even offer them some kind of a retirement plan. You know, when they first come in, they can put just a little bit of money aside and either take all of it with them when they leave before 20 years, but if they get the 20 years, whatever. I don't know. Just think of something to help the people, not just the corporation, you know?
Okay, Grandma, how long have you worked at Arby's for?
22 years.
And how much do you get paid right now?
$13 an hour.
How much were you hired in at?
$10.25, I think.
So you've been there for 20 years, and all you got was like a $3 raise.
Yeah, over 22 years.
22 years. $13 an hour.
Yep.
Jesus.
Hey.
Grandma. What? You're worth more than that. Okay, Grandma.
Oh, you know, when I see that, I always think, in heaven, the first will be last, the last will be first. It'll be beautiful. You know? She's got a mansion. Mom Donnie says, or needs to, Mom Donnie needs to shut up about, and worry about New York City, this young man says. See what the deal is here.
As well as other members of my team, I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to the violation.
Shut up. I called the president because I'm important now, and I let him know what I'm thinking about what he's doing. Shut up. We do not care. The president doesn't care. Surprise, the socialist mayor in New York City doesn't want the socialist authoritarian dictator in Venezuela to be removed. Does that surprise anybody? I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Why doesn't Mom Donnie ask the Venezuelan people how the warmth of collectivism has worked for them in Venezuela? Donnie talking about, I called the president and I let him know what I thought. Shut up. Oh my God. But he wasn't done. Let's let him finish.
And what was his response to you in that conversation?
I registered my opposition, I made it clear, and we left it at that.
Yeah, in other words, it sounds like Trump was like, you're wasting my time. Move along. Also, Mom Donnie tweeted this morning that he was briefed about what's going on. He didn't see it, he was briefed, guys. Still, with all of this, everywhere I turn, when I see Venezuelans, they are excited. They are happy. That doesn't matter. What matters is making sure that Trump doesn't look good for doing this. Anyway, that's all I got for now, just a reminder.
All right, thanks, sir. Good report. Oops. All right, let's do that. Appreciate you. Says this is literally only type of immigrant we want in America, it says. Well, I guess we'll let the video explain. Soy el Maje del Video Official. That's the handle.
I know I'm brown, and I know I'm different. But the same way you love this country, the same way you love U.S., the same way I love here too. I got this country by heart. I can fight for this country. I angry when somebody talking shit to this country. Because you know what? This country's everything for me. I got my beautiful family here. I got everything here. I got the American flag front to my house, like you, because I love U.S. I wanted you to understand that. I wanted you to understand I love this beautiful country the same way you love here.
Wow. Crazy. Beautiful, I think. Says she was exactly right. Venezuela, check this out. Check this out.
Here's what nobody's talking about. China had a heavy investment in Iran. Trump neutered them. China had a heavy investment in Gaza. Trump secured a regional firewall. China straightforwardly controlled Venezuela for 2 decades. Trump's moving in and China's blinking for a third time. And that's why everyone is asking the wrong questions when it comes to Venezuela. The cover story is this. Trump's military buildup toward Venezuela is about countering narco-terrorism and targeting drug cartels like Tren de Agua, which are tied to the President Nicolas Maduro's regime. But analysts go a step further and they still miss the mark when they say, well, this is really about regime change. It's neither of these things. I mean, yes, we've got a drug problem, but it's actually ties to a much bigger issue. Trump's Venezuela offensive is much bigger. It's his proxy war against China. And he's the only president in history who is actually fighting China where it hurts. As of this week, Trump has positioned over 10,000 U.S. troops and 8 warships in the region. We have helicopters and Reaper drones taking out narco boats. We have F-35s, and Venezuela has scrambled their jets. And this week, Trump has authorized the CIA to carry out lethal operations in Venezuela in new oil investments, solidifying Venezuela's position as the front lines of the U.S.-China shadow war. But China's interests in Venezuela go far beyond cheap oil and economics. Chinese companies are neck deep in modernizing Venezuela's ports and telecom infrastructures. And as in all things related to Chinese companies, you're a fool to think the Chinese Communist Party does anything without making it a dual military-civilian use project. I'll say it again. China does not allow its companies to operate in the world unless it could also be used for their national security purposes.
Makes sense. All right, so good report. Chanel Rion from one of the news networks, the conservative ones. I can't remember the name now. So amazing, it says. Nice little doom break, if you will. Says, since this has gotten tons of love on TikTok, I'm resharing here a throwback to when our son, 2 years old, was obsessed with a Pentecostal YouTube video of, quote, Waymaker, I guess a song. So let's check some of this out. Nice little break here.
I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. Working in this place, I worship you. I worship you. Let me make a way. You are here.
Cute, right? Let's check this out. Oh, Touching the Afterlife, great YouTube channel, testimonies. This says, I died, went to heaven, and saw dark spirits of chaos on the way. So, I don't know if there's any chapters on this. I guess not.
I wasn't at peace.
So as we do, we'll kind of self-edit, jump around a little bit here and there and get some of it, because he's just got a really amazing testimony here. Sorry.
Trouble, so to speak, running around with my friends, and we get into all kinds of mischief and just doing all kinds of things that could cost our very soul to be lost at a young age, because we knew right from wrong, or at least I knew right from wrong. But that didn't stop me. I was just influenced by the corruption that was in the streets. And then later on led me to skipping school. Around 13, I ran away from home, and I ran like maybe a few towns over from my hometown. We didn't have cell phones back then. We had landlines and things of that nature, so it was almost impossible for my mother to find out where I was without the Lord. But each time I ran away, she would always find me. She would always find me. And it didn't dawn on me till later on that it wasn't no one but the Holy Spirit that led her to me. And that was around 13. I kind of was in and out of the house, staying gone, things like that. And then around 14, 15, I started really rebelling. I started skipping school, and went from skipping school around about 15. I actually quit. I dropped out of school, and my mom found out. She would think I would go to school, but I would literally go get on the bus, go to school, and leave from there and go to other neighborhoods that was in my hometown, and watch those guys do things that they were doing.
All right, so we get a little bit of a background here. Let's jump ahead 10 minutes.
Oh, let me back up. So before I go into the room, I start praying, I start repenting. Mind you, I grew up in church, so I just automatically knew to start praying. Now I'm praying a prayer to God that I wasn't sincere about. And God knew that. But because he's rich in mercy and grace, his grace is so sufficient that he allowed me another opportunity, another chance to get it right. But he had mercy. And so I was repenting and just praying and, going through what most people go through. Lord, I won't smoke anymore. Please forgive me. I won't do it anymore, this, then the third. And so as I see these spiritual beings, I would say, these faces that was once a jacket, now I'm seeing that being morphed into these faces. I began to pray again, and finally it kind of went away and went back to the original form. So I'm laying down on my back, and all of a sudden I hear this, like, I started getting short of breath, and it seemed like every breath that I had taken, it was like it was leaving my body. And I get it, we blow breath out, but I'm saying it was different. It was like I felt it leaving my body. And I began to hear in the inside of me this buzzing noise. And in the inside of me, and it was like a zzz, and I felt this noise. I heard this noise and I felt it like from the sole of my feet, and it was slowly going up my body, and I couldn't move, and I'm just hearing this noise, and as this buzzing noise began to go up my body, the more I took a breath, the more my breath was leaving me, and so at this point, I've accepted that I was about to pass away, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. I prayed already, but it was at this point my life was out of my control. I had no control over anything, and so I just allowed myself to leave. And but before I go further, I later got revelation about what that buzzing noise was or is. It's called a silver cord. When we make a vow to God, we have to be sincere about the things that we say. God is holy, God is just, and he's also a judge. So the Bible says that it's better to not make a vow and keep it than to make one. And you can find this verse or these verses in Ecclesiastes 5:4-5. And the reason why this is so important before I read this is because we tend to, whenever we get into trouble or we find ourselves in a situation, we tend to start telling God these things that we truly don't mean. And the Lord knows. He know we have this thing where we say that the Lord knows our heart. But the word of God tells us that the heart is deceitful above all things. Yes, he knows our heart, but the problem is we don't. And so at the time we might mean something, but if we're going to say anything or make a declaration to the Most High God, we need to stand on it. We need to stand on what we say to him was. And the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. So with that being said, when the soul leaves the body, it's this the soul is being detached, being extracted from the body. And that noise that I heard, that buzzing noise, that's what that was. And I found that out later on. I'm talking about later on because I didn't know what it was, and God had given me revelation through confirmation and revelation through somebody else. I don't even remember who, but I thank God for the individual for leading me to those verses. But yeah, so again, as I'm hearing this choir sing, it was so beautiful. But they was witnessing to me, because I also remember growing up, my mom used to tell me that Jesus was the mediator, and I never knew what she was talking about. I never understood it. amount of money at an early age, so that brings forth influence. Plus, I'm also a gang member, which brought forth more influence. And, uh,
Sorry, I guess I'll go ahead and move on from this one because it's hard sometimes. This is a longer one. It's over an hour and a half long, but it's really good on touching the afterlife. But sometimes I'll try to save a spot, but then when it restarts, it kind of refreshes everything, you know. It says eyewitness claims billionaires are trying to stop Revelation. Have you guys heard this before? All right, let's see if this is it. Yeah. Let's check this part out. Okay.
And so it felt like he was saying that there might be a way to patch the book of Revelation. Like a tech guy being like, we can control alt delete the book of Revelation. I think there's a way we can like maybe forestall the emergence of the Antichrist. You know, that there could be things that, so in other words, you're taking it literally, but maybe the book of Revelation is like more of an invitation to fix the apocalypse. When I've always taken it, if you decide to take it literally, it's more of like, this is just sort of what you can expect at when like pre-singularity, whatever you want to call it, collapse of civilization.
Elon
This
says
is
we're
what
there.
happens at the end of things, and you know, there are all these things you should look out for, but also sort of unavoidable.
Do you think he takes it literally? Do you think he really believes this stuff, or do you think there's some sort of like ulterior motive? Because it seems so strange.
Right. Well, I mean, I think what's really interesting about Christian eschatology and like Ray Kurzweil, sort of Terence McKenna's singularity predictions, is you're looking at basically the same thing. Like probably, you know, there's a reason all of these people are like buying property in New Zealand and building like bunkers, and because, you know, they see this trajectory that has been described in a lot of different ways, but essentially
Now, real quick, what he's basically saying there is you have the book of Revelation, and that's what he means by Christian eschatology. It's the end of the world. And you have Christian belief in Revelation, what happens at the end. But then you have Ray Kurzweil and these tech guys that believe that humanity is going to reach a point of singularity with robots and machines, which basically essentially also ends the human race. But what is so strange to me is that what he is talking about is a worldview where Revelation is taken literally, but not as a prophecy, but rather a problem to solve. You know, not something to submit to and believe in, but something to manage. So listen to the words that he was using there. Patching the book of Revelation, controlling it, deleting it, forestalling it. That's not biblical language. The Bible never presents Revelation as optional. Check it out.
Probably like one of the side effects of having a lot of money is you begin to realize that like none of this is making me happy. It's not working. Like this dream, like I've got the yachts and I have more money than I could ever spend in a lifetime, but I'm miserable. Why? What is that? It's the best question of all time. And until you like have that experience, you might just think when you hear, you know, money doesn't bring happiness, you're like, shut the up. I can't pay my rent.
Right.
You know what that's like? That's scary. And so you imagine at some point when you have X amount of money in your accounts, all that background hum, anxiety, depression, all that stuff that you have attached to lack of money will go away. But it doesn't. Now what? Now what? You want to find something not so rooted in the world. So, and also, you know, like the shit's about to hit the fan. And that's a perfect mind state to become a Christian. And you go into a church with the secularist mindset, but you have an open mind. You experience something extraordinary. And what is that? You realize like, oh, maybe I'm the asshole because I've been rolling my eyes at something people have been doing for thousands of years. People have died for this. People have like, saints roasted alive. You know what I mean? Like, as they're like being incinerated, crying, not for themselves, but for the people killing them. What is that? That's fascinating. And that's going to grab anybody who's curious. That's going to grab your mind. When you experience that, you'll begin to realize, like, oh, like, this isn't just some kind of cosplay people are doing. There's
Right.
something here.
Yes.
And then then you begin tuning into that, and it becomes a sort of back and forth communication. And then from that emerges, a more sort of religious way of living, among other things.
Mm-hmm. All right, there we go. That's interesting topic, I would say. And this is he's wearing a Palantir hat, which is funny. An upside-down pyramid sun symbol. Says, eyewitness claims billionaires are trying to stop revelation from Truth Be Told YouTube channel. I'm going to subscribe. There, I did it. Tell your friends, if you like. USA cancels all money for NGOs. That's so good. It says it's finally over. Yeah, I mean, clean sweep, definitely. Because they never help the American people, ever. It's always for some shady stuff.
The United States has spent billions of dollars over the years in helping with health strategies all across the world. What we learned over time, and especially after coming here, is that oftentimes, and I'm oversimplifying it, but this is an accurate description, what would happen is we would go to a country and say, we're going to help you with your health care needs. Then we would drive over to Northern Virginia somewhere, find an NGO, one of these organizations, give them all the money, tell them go to this country and do their health care program for them. That NGO would then take about some percentage of that money for their overhead and administrative costs. And by the time it got down to it, the host country had very little influence. It was sort of imposed on them. And only a percentage of the overall money ever actually reached the patients and the people on the ground that we were trying to help because of these costs. This makes no sense.
Nope.
So why are we hiring American and international NGOs to go into other countries and run healthcare systems that are parallel and sometimes in conflict with the healthcare systems of the host country? If we're trying to help countries, help the country. Don't help the NGO to go in and find a new line of business. And so that's what the model that we're breaking. We're not doing this anymore. We are not going to spend billions of dollars funding the NGO industrial complex while close and important partners like Kenya either have no role to play or have very little influence over how healthcare money is being spent. Bottom line is, if you want to help a country, work with that country.
Good stuff, right? Finally, some common sense. Always good to see some corruption, more corruption being exposed. It's a really nice message I wanted to share. Also, thank you from Permanent Forever. It says, Shepherd's Chapel channel on YouTube brought me so far with the Bible. We don't have to agree with everything everyone believes, but I know that the Bible much better, but I know the Bible much better studying with Shepherd's Chapel. Thanks for being here all these years, KJ. Hey, you're so welcome. Thank you, my friend. And cool, thanks for sharing. So again, if some of y'all want to go check this out, Shepherd's Chapel channel. Check them out. All right. Cool. See you later. Just kidding. Still got more to go. The Venezuelans are now doing the Trump dance to YMCA. Here's some footage. You're welcome to join in if you like. You don't have to be Venezuelan. Better do that too. It's for the music. There we go. These are crazy times. I mean, they're not done yet. I just looks like there's going to be a roll. We're going to see some big moves coming real quick. Right?
Right? I mean, he
Right? She said that right after I said that. From Cash Jordan, ICE raids Minnesota fraud headquarters. Tim Walz resigns as Trump crushes scam empire from 5 days ago. So let's check this out. He does good, I think, reporting. Cash Jordan. Check this out, if you will.
Widespread fraud in Minnesota. This is growing. They are going door to door at suspected fraud sites.
So, federal agents are walking the streets of America's fraud capital, knocking on doors, looking for scammers and folks here illegally. Because after viral videos reveal a massive number of businesses collecting government money while doing absolutely nothing, the same government that got scammed now wants payback and is now going full scorched earth on those who defraud our country for a living.
Where is the children at these daycare centers if there's millions of dollars?
The FBI has surged agents to Minnesota, and now so has Homeland Security. HSI investigators launched what they are calling a massive investigation, going door to door to suspected fraud sites in Minneapolis.
There's always a tie when it comes to sanctuary jurisdictions where you can hide in plain sight. You see a lot of these fraudsters use a lot of the sanctuary rules and sanctuary protections to, enact criminal fraud just like this.
But whenever you're the person whose job is being displaced because of this illegal alien, when you're the person who now has to pay a higher premium for your insurance, for your home insurance or your car insurance, if you call this out, somehow now you're the problem. No, I don't think so. I think I'm tired of this. And average Americans are tired of having their country rotted out, looted, pillaged. Open borders and political violence cannot operate legitimately and instead relies on politically connected fraud to keep itself afloat. Hello, California's homeless industrial complex. Hello, New York City's asylum crisis. Yes, that's right. These well-intended programs to help the needy are actually the backbone of a political fraud complex that's got nothing to do with helping America. And as you're about to see, there's now a massive effort underway to cover all of this up and defend it.
Today we're outside of Quality Leering Center. They spelt the name wrong, so they actually came and corrected it. The interesting thing about this daycare here in Minnesota is it received $1.9 million in the fiscal year of 2025. Whoa. And it has a capacity for upwards of 90 children. And what makes this daycare even more interesting is that while the Commissioner of Children of Minnesota was saying that the daycare was closed on a live stream,
Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago.
A Somalian man was outside talking about how they are open, letting children in, and right now they are funneling children into the daycare as well. And right now, they're not really leering much because they have accepted over $1.9 million, and now the Commissioner of Children literally said this place was closed. And now you have people funneling in children. The parking lot's full.
So this is the place, the Leering Center, which has been all over the news for spelling learning incorrectly, something that did not just happen. This is not a new establishment. They got all kinds of money, and now while the state says this place is shut down, workers claim it's open, and kids are being bussed in to try and legitimize this and make it look like it's helping people and making the world a better place. And what's really bizarre is the quote-unquote manager of this facility looks like somebody who may be incredibly well-connected politically.
Am I going crazy, or is this the same guy? Is the manager of the infamous Learning Center in Minneapolis also one of the guys that was dancing in the back of Mayor Jacob Frey's election victory video? The one that went super viral where he thanks his constituents in Somali for re-electing him last month? Ibrahim Ali claims to be the manager of the Quality Learning Center and says that there is no fraud going on whatsoever there. He very well may just have a doppelganger who happens to look just like him that lives in the very same city he lives in.
Looks like it.
Or he could be one of the Somali community leaders who is working with local electeds to keep some of these fraud schemes going. But that would just be crazy, right? I mean, he looks so similar to this guy going... I mean, hypothetically speaking, it would make sense that someone running a fraudulent business would have a vested interest in who is in control politically in the city.
Look, here he is defending the business with the misspelled sign right there in the background. If the people can't spell learning correctly, how are people gonna go in there and learn anything? But now the question is, why would elected officials allow this type of rampant fraud to go on and turn a blind eye to it?
And the cherry on top is that Governor Tim Walz, after being radio silent, finally comes out and puts out a statement days later, just a few minutes ago. And what does he do? He blames Trump.
I think Tim's gonna have a bad day, and he deserves it.
because he allowed this fraud because he wanted the voting bloc that Somalis represent, because they all vote in a bloc, and it's 100,000, 150,000, who knows how many.
Okay, this gentleman on the news says this is all about votes. And in 2022, Tim Walz won re-election, but look at the vote discrepancies here. 200,000 vote
9/11
margin.
where
Oh no, that all looks very suspicious. But don't worry, Governor Walz has a perfectly logical explanation for why all of this is being exposed and why it's all over the news, even though he's the one in charge.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
Oh!
Right.
So that's why this is all over the news. It has nothing to do with fraud. It's because people are mean-spirited. Billions of dollars left the country. There have been dozens of convictions. It's all happened under his watch. But nope, it's got nothing to do with fraud. People are only all about this because of the evil in their hearts.
Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. That's exactly why he's saying all this stuff. That's why people have criticized the opposition as being mean-spirited, because they want votes. And that's exactly what we're witnessing here.
All right, I'll go and stop there. He's that video is 21 minutes, so you can go check it out at his channel, Cash Jordan, on YouTube. Citizen Reporter. Decorated musician James Zimmerman is suing the Knoxville Symphony, alleging that they discriminated against him because of his skin color. I guess they don't realize. He ain't no white man. Kind of looks like it, but, how dumb that some people are getting with just that judging on the color of their skin on everything.
My name's James Zimmerman. I'm
Hi.
a clarinet player. You may not have heard of me, but if you've been to Disney World or played video games or watched Netflix, you've heard my playing. I'm a session player in Nashville, and I also work in big tech. Before tech, I was principal clarinet of the Nashville Symphony for 12 years, but in 2020, I got canceled for resisting DEI. It's a long story, easy to Google if you feel like it. So last summer, I took the blind audition for principal clarinet of the Knoxville Symphony, practiced like a madman for 2 months, and won the audition unanimously. I was very pumped. Until 2 days later, when their CEO called to tell me, "We heard some things about your time in the Nashville Symphony," and refused to give me the job, wouldn't communicate with me, and gave the job to my runner-up, an obvious DEI hire who's still in college. Which is not just uncool, it's illegal. So a couple weeks ago, I sued them for a year's salary plus $25,000 to compensate me for the 100 hours I spent practicing for the audition they invited me to, with the understanding that they'd give me the job if I won. But more than that, I'm suing because these orchestras can't keep throwing out their best players to make room for diversity hires and putting race and politics above merit and skill. All this does is lower the quality of the music, alienate audiences, and turn the arts into politics. The Nashville Symphony got away with acting like this in 2020, but maybe the Knoxville Symphony shouldn't be able to in 2025. I wish I didn't have to do this. I was just looking to get back in the game, put 2020 behind me, and earn money for my kids' college doing what I love. But if I'm blacklisted, it's either push back against the people in charge or walk away. And if Knoxville thought I was walking away from this, they were sorely mistaken. Hopefully I'll win my lawsuit and make an example of the Knoxville Symphony, and orchestras will go back to hiring the best players the way they did before DEI ruined the business.
Right.
It's either that or leftists keep running orchestras into the ground until they're gone completely, all in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Hey.
Give me a break. So follow me and see how the fight unfolds. I'll be doing some fundraising as well.
All right, sir. I guess we'll see. We'll see. This is all James's opinion, as you know. Says decorated musician. Read some of this earlier, right? But the skin color chose much less qualified. All right, there we go. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. You got it? Yeah, me too. It says Call of Duty Ghosts PC game was released 12 years ago when Maduro started his presidency, and this is pretty interesting here. How these kind of things we find as the dust begins to settle.
Okay. Venezuela was already foretold to us. In this Call of Duty, the United States sent special forces in order to take over the dictator of Venezuela. Caracas, Venezuela, to be exact. But this is where it gets crazy. Pay attention. This Call of Duty came out 12 years ago. Want to know what else happened 12 years ago? Nicolas Maduro started his presidency 12 years ago. Look at the opening scene to the final act.
To us, Rourke was a legend. A man could walk through hell.
They based the game 12 years in the past. Is that...
So what that goes on quite a bit longer, but it's kind of irrelevant. Call of Duty Ghosts is set in 12 years in the future from now, and at the start of the game it says 12 years previous, and it shows America invading and overthrowing Venezuela, which is right now. So again, is that just coincidence number 5K?
Venezuela was already foretold to us. In this Call of Duty, the United States...
So there you go. I think you get the idea. This kind of thing happens over and over. It's interesting. More and more different kinds of events we find. The programming early on, many years before. It's a really strange one. I don't know about you all. Some of you out there, you very, very big oatmeal eaters. Throughout my adult life, I went through strange phases, I guess. But I would go through and I would definitely really be into oatmeal there sometimes for months at a time. I don't eat breakfast anymore. It's just long ago, but I could always see the appeal in oatmeal, you know? Especially whatever you put in it. That's what makes it fun, you know? So anyway, family opens sealed Walmart oatmeal, but it's crawling with live worms. Apparently this is supposed to be a brand new container. So this isn't cool. If this is the only kind of video we'd seen and, you know, about food and something going wrong with it, then it'd be one thing, but it's just one of many, many examples of what's happening in some cases to the food supply with different products.
Look what I got from Walmart, y'all, look. Wait, Coochie, look. And I slung it and they all down the bottom of the sink.
Where your flashlight is? Why you got the flashlight?
Let me turn the flashlight on. Now, y'all look.
Now,
Wait, Tochi. Oh, what? You gotta mess it up. I gotta take this outside. You gotta do the sink.
No, but let me put a dot in there.
Okay, put it out. Oh, Lord, let me take you. Oh, my God, y'all. Don't buy no oatmeal from Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. Let's see.
They running. Oh, they running.
That's too much.
They running.
They running. It's boiling up.
Oh, no, don't come up to the top.
Because this is how you...
All right, gross. So you get the idea. So yeah, double check your oatmeal, I guess. With everything else, I personally always pray over my food too. You know what I'm saying? It's a good idea too. Says, excuse me. Says reporters audibly furious at Governor Tim Walz as he abruptly ends a press conference and bolts from the conference after announcing he was dropping out of the 2026 race. And this is posted 5 days ago.
The LEAP program that is now
Little Tim, he's in big trouble. Little Tim in big trouble. Big trouble in Little Minnesota.
I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud of the way that we innovate. And I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future. No one's taking this away from us. Not the fraudsters. Certainly not this president. Not on my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you. I'll give you an update on America's best paid family medical leave program that is now a week into it. And at that time, I'll take all your questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Press. I'll be back tomorrow. Next one, more tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. All right. Thank you, Press. You said you were going to take questions. Why didn't you?
Thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's that 8-pointed flag. The new Minnesota flag, he says. It used to be really creative and cool looking, the Minnesota flag. They just replaced it. The Star of Lucifer, also known as the Star of Ishtar. It is. All right. There we go. Little Tim. Not in the mood to chat. We get it. He's got his back against the wall. DHS accuses Minnesota Hilton of maliciously denying service to ICE agents as massive federal operation kicks off. So.
Notice of inspection. We're about to from Homeland Security Investigations. Okay. Secondly, we're just here because our agency said that you were given a notice of inspection, and that we're just here making sure that you're compliant with and verifying that you get the documents. Yes, I did that. Yeah, you did that already?
Yes, I did that.
Okay? So that's all we're here for, okay? All right, cool. All right, peace out.
Both illegal aliens and both sexual predators, and both with a long history of criminal arrest.
All right, there we go. I think we get the idea. That's been a big story. So a lot of even McDonald's is not allowing ICE agents in. Says it's official. CPB board will dissolve NPR and PBS funding agent after 58 years of two propaganda arms of the loonies. Over on the left-hand side, for me, it's nice to see them go, personally. Just saying. And we don't need a replacement. Unless it was just purely not political and truly something for children and innocent and safe. You know? That teaches good, nice stories, good little manners and stuff like that. Like, that'd be great. I'd love that. You know? Says infuriated WestJet passenger shows sardine can seating in new planes. It says you have to pay for the other leg. Yeah, look what they're doing with these brand new airplanes. Apparently, this is one of the ways they've adjusted seating, which means pricing, which means somehow they're cutting a major corner, and the customer is suffering, but the airline's making more money.
Dad, can you just straighten out your legs there? Impossible. Just straighten up your legs. Straighten up my knees to the front. Mom, how about you? Yeah, well, I'm going to be sharing my leg space with him. New planes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you have to pay for the other leg.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. Yeah, that's insane right there. So there we go. I suppose it depends on the plane, on what airline you're going on. It says J.D. Vance home. Oh yeah, somebody went after J.D. Vance's home. I guess they broke a few windows over there, but they were picked up pretty quick. It turns out it's a tran doctor of a Democrat donor surgeon, and this is the person right here. So there you go. Very interesting. Looks like the actor Jesse Buckley. I think that's the actor's name. Is it Jesse Buckley? Hilton moves fast to boom rogue franchisee as hotel continues banning DHS agents. So here's another one. If you didn't know, it's a big deal. There's a video coming up somewhere, and I think I've got it, unless it's down here somewhere. Let me see. All right. So the big story is there's a certain Hilton Inn, and it was a franchise, right? So there's a franchisee owner, and they had made sure to that the front agents wouldn't rent any rooms to the ICE or any federal agents. So it says Hilton Hotels wasted no time in the past 24 hours in curbing a rogue franchisee under the Hampton Inn brand called Hampton Inn by Hilton Lakeville, just outside of downtown Minneapolis, after news broke Monday that the independently owned hotel had rejected reservations from anyone affiliated with the Department of Homeland Security. Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boom, boom. All right, so there's that. I know I've got some videos coming up on this. Some body cam footage from one of the agents there. It says, why are there no new cemeteries being built? It's a good question. Something to ask yourself. Just want to throw that out there real quick. Actually, I'll move on from that one.
So we own a construction.
All right, here we go. The man is talking about the construction industry and how it's just, in his opinion, has collapsed. Let me see if I can get a big screen on
So
this.
we own a construction company, and I am so tired of weak men who can't even do a job. They can't show up to work. They can't work a whole day. They complain about everything, and you can't depend on them. So if you are a parent of a son, my God, give them responsibility. Give them discipline. Teach them work ethic. Please, for the love of all that is good in God, please.
And this is the experience of so many construction owners, real estate owners, whatever the case is, people who deal with a lot of renovations and construction, right? Like right now, especially after a lot of the Trump administration policies have been enacted, you're seeing a lot of the industry fall apart because a lot of the workers are being deported and arrested and detained, guys. It sucks to see how bad it's gotten, but I think it's only going to get worse.
All right. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate the report. Yeah, I mean, I guess that they're starting to see the generational effect of things, and you know. But that's why it's nice to see. I like to watch some of the fights, and it's nice to see a lot of the young people still coming up and fighting. Still really good, tough people, good at what they do. Young people. So there's always going to be different, types in every generation. Some have that dog in them, and some don't. I guess that's what it comes down to. A woman was attacked. Oh, you know what? Let's do this one over on Monday. That'll be a fun one to listen to. Yeah. Attacked by a Mason neighbor is the claim. Invasion. This is another one from Cash Jordan. Convoy jams interstate. Texas Marines seal exits. March illegals to Mexico. This is from 4 days ago. Let's check out some of this report here.
Operation Highway Sentinel, and it is now in full swing. ICE ramping up its crackdown on illegal immigrant truck drivers following a series of awful crashes.
So, as ICE sends troops out onto America's roadways, we're learning something new about our formerly open border, which is that illegal immigration has not led to the prosperity its proponents promise, but has created the largest safety and affordability crises in our country's history. But with programs like Operation Highway now underway, all of that is about to change.
Federal agents arresting more than 100 illegal aliens during that sweep, and it targeted truck companies in California after a string of disasters on the road linked to commercial licenses issued under Governor Gavin Newsom.
These are rules that are set up to make sure our roads are safe, and so if you can't speak English, if you haven't gone through the proper training courses, you shouldn't be behind the wheel of a big rig. These are 80,000-pound vehicles that can be incredibly dangerous when things go wrong.
The governor's office says the impacted drivers are not illegal immigrants and that the licenses were withdrawn due to, quote, inconsistency with California law. The DMV didn't respond when asked for further clarification on what that means.
You're not just putting American lives at risk. You have been irresponsible if your state's doling out CDLs to just anybody. They can't read the signs, they can't speak the language. These people have to be properly trained. And if they are not, they should not be behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound rig. I mean, this is outrageous.
All right, let's jump ahead some.
Involved in some of these frightening incidents are only part of the equation because someone had to give them a commercial driver's license they could not obtain otherwise, so they could unlawfully obtain employment they're not entitled to. But there's also somebody who had to hire these individuals, likely knowing what was going on and looking the other way.
So let me show you guys one of the absolute shadiest practices in the trucking industry, and I want you to pay special attention to the USDOT numbers. Now, he just changed the name from KG Trucking to Tutashi, right? But the problem is the USDOT number he's going to stick over the one that goes to Tutashi. Check this out. The one he puts up goes to It's Smart As Trucking, which is not an authorized carrier. Okay?
Weird.
not an authorized carrier. They haven't been authorized for
So
years.
this number swapping incident here allegedly took place after an accident involving a large truck driven by somebody who never should have been driving that truck to begin with. And before we get into the company's response to this nonsense, the ease at which this was done really raises a lot of red flags, because it means every truck on the roads in this country could potentially be compromised. And at a minimum, it means the true number of compromised vehicles on our roadways is higher than whatever we've come to figure out through investigations recently. But now the person exposing this is going to call the company and find out what they have to say.
We're on the phone with the truck, and that driver was just in an accident. So you think it's a Hitachi truck, but it's giving you a totally bogus US DOT number. And all three of these companies are in cahoots. Well, it really doesn't matter what my name is, but I'm asking why there would be videos on TikTok showing your drivers changing the names on their doors after accidents.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Can you...
About the case, the driver was a fire, and then he changed.
All right, we're going to move on. Like I said, it's another good one from Cash Jordan. It's easy to want to watch all of it. He's really does a good job, I think, of pulling all these things together. So a little bit of that. Federal prosecutors blew the lid off a $7 million SNAP fraud scheme in Boston. Meanwhile, and here's something you may not have heard about.
We are announcing federal charges against two men, Antonio Bonner and Saul Elisme, for large-scale SNAP benefit trafficking, a scheme that turned a program designed to feed families into a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. SNAP benefits are also known as food stamps. The defendants are charged with one count of food stamp fraud. As alleged in the charging documents, these men abused one of the government's most critical safety net programs for their own financial gain. This is taxpayer money meant to keep people from going hungry. These defendants decided to take it for themselves. These defendants exchanged SNAP benefits for cash.
Moonbender says, I can solve the problem with Greenland. Adopt my Scottish Lamb Island as your 51st state and use it as a military base. It's pretty crazy. He's offering this to President Trump. It's interesting. He's an interesting character himself.
My dear friends, that's my island, Lamb Island, and that's not
Look at
AI.
that rainbow.
That's a real rainbow. Lamb Island is blessed by supernatural powers. 18 years ago, when I bought the island, I knew why I'm buying Lamb Island. I still know it today. America needs Greenland. There's something in Greenland. If I would tell you right now what is in Greenland, you will freak out. It'll blow your mind. Not only America needs Greenland, but the whole world. And only Donald Trump and a few people know what it is. I know. That's why I'm offering my Lamb Island to Donald Trump. Leave your comments. I'm very curious what you'll say. You can attack me too. I don't care. There's something in Greenland to do with Lamb Island. It's a wow. I love you all.
Look at that rainbow. That's beautiful. I wonder what the secret is. I haven't really looked much into Lamb Island. You guys might want to let me know if you guys find anything of interest. The mysteries that gave birth to the world's most newest micronation. This must be one of those came out of the sea not long ago. Wow, there you go. Uri Geller. Being serious about it all. But, you know, if it just came up, like, you know, in our generation or something, it's kind of scary because it could just as easily go away, right? I would think. I don't know. It says, our sky made up of water, this young man is saying. Yeah, check this out. This is a good one, too. Some good catches of the firmament.
Got the fake New Year to celebrate.
If you will.
It's a full moon tonight, a wolf moon. I want to show you guys the moon, and then I'm going to show you a star that's right next to it.
Better.
So I've got Nikon super zoom camera. This is the
P1100. Now zooming in, we've got the moon here. We'll let the cloud pass. So there's our full moon tonight. Okay, crazy bright, right? Clearly not 240,000 miles away. Now zooming out just a little bit, we're gonna go over to the star. You guys ever see water at the base of a swimming pool?
Yeah.
Because this is exactly what it is.
Okay.
Sacred geometry, guys.
Let's see it.
Wow. I'm gonna press the autofocus and see if it shows us what it showed us before.
You better.
There it is.
That's incredible.
Now they tell us that these are planets, guys.
Yeah, look at that.
To me, it looks like water mixed with some level of light. You can see it shimmering, guys. Okay, we literally live in a bathtub. A bathtub. We live in a terrarium. Okay, and we have a creator. Same.
All right, sir. Thanks. Appreciate it. What do you think? California, man, this is a crazy one. There's been some skies around the world really going, changing colors, but everything, and really bright. Here's an example. It says nothing to see here. Don't ask questions. Everything's fine. Move along, people. But this was in California this week. Yeah, this is from the 5th, 5 days ago.
Oh my god. This is really dangerous. Oh my god. It's out of nowhere and it's like me. Oh my god, right? Oh my god, Ash is getting my eyes. It's got straight up. Oh my god.
It's pretty crazy, huh? So there you go. See if there's some more examples. It looks like a lens. There's one, 2019, Indonesia, those rain fires. All right, let's go move on. Crazy skies. Oh yeah, you know, a lot of people have been talking about this one this week, this whole situation with Heliofont channel. And, of course, they're the ones who produced iPet Goat 2. They took it down for a while, then they reloaded it just over a year ago, so it's right here. And that's just an amazing creation, definitely spiritual. I call it spiritual storyboarding, but it really is some programming in there for things to come. There's even it looks like a reference to the whole Maduro situation actually in this one. Let me see here. I'm gonna go. See if I can bring it up like that, maybe. Oh, they're just actually throwing in goats. All right. Goats that are worthy of a pet, I'm assuming. Let's try that. Now it'll probably be animated goats, but there's that. Oh, there we go. So there's this right here, which is pretty interesting. Looks like... Doesn't that kind of look like Maduro in a way? It's got the hammer sickle. Right? Hammer, sickle. This guy. And it's, there's oil somewhere around this time comes in as a factor. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So there you go, iPet Goat 2. If you're interested, look into it. There seems like there's still things being revealed there, right? California is under full investigation by the Trump administration now after up to $76.5 billion was taken from the taxpayers. Oh boy.
What is going on in California? A rainy day out there on the West Coast. Heather, what can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon to you, Katrina and Andrew. This latest report was issued by the state auditor, and that's a nonpartisan position. That state auditor now puts 8 state agencies on a high-risk list of agencies to watch out for things like fraud and mismanagement as well as waste. Here's a look at that 92-page report. Newly added to the high-risk list is California's food stamp program. If the state doesn't get the improper payments under control, it could cost an extra $2.5 billion. Also on there is the Department of Finance, which was tasked with giving out COVID relief funds. Critics say $32 billion of that was taken by fraudsters. Then there are infrastructure issues like California's deteriorating dams and also the high-speed train that's already cost taxpayers $18 billion without a single section of track complete. Other reports cite $24 billion spent on the homeless issue that critics claim the state lost track of. More recently, there's a report that says California cell phone users paid a surcharge for years to upgrade the state's 911 system. Here's Congressman Kevin Kiley talking about what happened to that plan.
That after spending $650 million on that system, the state is totally scrapping it and starting over, completely wasted the money because the technology doesn't work. Mind you, we are very close to Silicon Valley in Sacramento, and yet the government can't figure out how to make basic technology perform.
Interesting, right? So, okay. Thank you, folks, for your reports. We appreciate you. Always. It says in 2016, Mamdani's director of appointments wrote that it's important that white people feel defeated. That's not nice. And in 2018, his housing advisor wrote, impoverish the white middle class. So we know that that's already becoming a thing out in New York City. A lot of talk about, I guess, his new housing authority lady is clearly against them whiteys. And, I mean, can you blame her, right? Yeah. No, but really. So it's kind of becoming a thing. But I'm glad people are noticing it and talking about it. Meanwhile, her mother, who's white, has a $1.4 million mansion, so there's that, right? President Trump is out here playing 4D chess, this person exclaims. See if you agree.
And transporting him to a U.S. federal prison to face charges, Trump announced the U.S. will run the country until a safe transition is possible. But what if the U.S. never leaves? The Petro reset breaks OPEC's global price monopoly. By seizing Venezuela's 300 billion barrels of oil, the world's largest reserves, the U.S. crashes gas prices to a historic $1 at the pump. This logistics miracle slashes shipping costs by 70%, cutting the price of groceries and goods by 30% overnight. Inflation vanishes as the energy tax is deleted, triggering a surge in domestic manufacturing. The currency collapse is solved by replacing the bolivar with the U.S. dollar, stabilizing cost while zeroing savings. As a migration reverse brings 7.7 million refugees back to rebuild $400 billion in decaying infrastructure. The Southern Command expansion dismantles gangs and rebels, cutting crime by 90% as Venezuela becomes a de facto 51st state. This superpower pivot evicts Russia and China, freezing $60 billion in debt and granting the U.S. total military and economic hegemony over South America.
Wow. So that's a interesting take, I would say. Sherry Lopez said that he seized all the Bitcoin. I didn't know that. That's interesting. A lot of people have been watching Bitcoin for many moons, for sure. Because people, you like it or not, the world eventually is all going to go digital. It's going to be one of the ways that he can control everything, So, as you understand, it says, according to stuntman and filmmaker Mike Smith, breaking into Hollywood's inner sanctum comes with a price that makes your stomach turn. It doesn't sound very nice. He's here with Laura Logan. Let's check it out, if you like.
Is it true that to get to a certain level in Hollywood, these famous people have to sacrifice their firstborn child? Is that a crazy thing to say?
I've heard, okay, let me just say for the record, I don't know any of this to be, I can't prove what I'm about to say. If you ask me what I can prove, I can't prove this. Mm-hmm. But if you ask me what I believe, I believe that there is a club, and I do believe that there are certain people that to attain certain stature or certain level of influence or power, fame, whatever, you're required to either sacrifice a blood sacrifice, whether it be a mom or a relative or whatever, or transition one of your kids, because it's all worshiping their God, their false God.
So what are the signs that you see that make you think that that's true?
Well, how many? What do you mean? Go Google your stars and see how many of them lost a parent, or how many of them lost a kid, die in accidents, or died during a certain period of time in their life. Go see how many stars have transgender kids. Who do you think's pushing that? Where do you think that comes from? That is Baphomet. That is satanic.
It's dark.
It's evil.
It's very dark.
There we go. So, okay. Well, it's good to see. This is information around these parts we're all very familiar with, but it's always nice to see it out there, especially out of somebody from the industry, that from the inside, if you will. This is another one, same one from him. Introducing Laura Logan. It says, we have finally found the Somali Education Resource Center. Organization has received $42 million. So it looks like we get some more citizen reporters, journalists. Walter Kurt, good to see, on the streets and exposing some of this stuff.
All right, guys, so we are here. We found it, finally, all day long. The Somali Education Resource Center, Suite 301 here at 299 East Granville Road in Dublin, Ohio. Now, the deal is that $14 million into this center here. This is a single office. And by the way, there's nothing inside it. We've already looked. It is very, very, very much dark, and it looks like there's maybe a couch inside. So not anything here. Very nice security system, which I found very strange. So I assume that they probably have now taken our video and everything of us standing out here. But there is nothing here. And again, where's the money? That's the real question. Where is the money? Because this organization is supposedly $42 million over the past few years in taxpayer funding, and we have no access, and we have no idea where it is. So we're just trying to ask some questions here, and we have yet to find anything at all. So we're going to keep looking, guys, but this is what we found so far.
All right, well, good job, young man. You and your crew on the streets. I always pray for these people when I think about it, when I see these clips. All the citizen reporters and journalists out there putting themselves on the line. It says Mickey Rourke. Oh, apparently this was kind of a scam this week, but there's a whole thing going around that Mickey Rourke couldn't pay his bills, his rent, so he put up a GoFundMe. And it says here, Mickey Rourke knew nothing about this, let alone to state he himself asked for it. But yeah, I guess that was a big deal there for a few weeks. A lot of people were reporting on this, even a big news, like ABC News here. Turns to fans to pay rent. And now he's claiming he knows nothing about it, knew nothing about it. So there you go. Believe him or not, did you chip in? That's the question. Trump demands immediate abolition of mass mail-in voting. That'd be a good move for sure, because it always tends to help the you-know-who's on the you-know-what. Says, this is crazy. I had no idea this was happening to the veterinarians. Let's check this out from this young man here. See what you think about it.
It is becoming impossible to have pets in the United States of America, the so-called greatest country on earth. Just a couple of days ago, I shared a video about how private equity was taking over vet clinics in the United States of America. They now own 75% of emergency vet care and almost 50% of regular vet clinics. The result of this is that people are being priced out of the simple act of having a pet, and that is disgusting. And I wanted to use my platform to share some of the stories of the people who told me what is happening to them. So here you go. Someone said, vet care is so incredibly expensive and they always push for tests that aren't needed. I recently lost my soulmate cat because of that. We are one of the 25% of ER vets still privately owned. Private equity is making it impossible to compete. One of my friends said, my dog has a cancer tumor that's growing insanely large and I can't afford the $10K to get it or her leg removed. Another person said, so timely, just cost me half a month's rent for an urgent visit with my rabbit today. Grateful for the vet team, but it can be devastating. I have 2 old cats. Between the expensive food, meds, and vet care, I'm tapped out. When they are gone, I'm not getting any more pets. I can't afford it. So many people said that. Someone said, I lost my dog 5 years ago because I couldn't afford the vet bills. She walked the Rainbow Bridge at only 5.5 years old. I still cry when I remember how great she was. She deserved a good life, and I couldn't get any help from the financial aid.
All right, I'll go and stop there because it goes on for a few more minutes, and which means there's multiple stories. So I think we get it. We get the idea. Don't want to be pummeled with bummer stories, right? I don't like that. Then I know you don't like it either. RIP. After learning it can no longer suck on public teat without accountability, it says, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting has chosen instead to end itself. So we already know that was done. Good to see. They may have had a couple of decent programs over the years, but it was always some political stuff, always again to the left, no matter who was in office. Oh, man, this is really cool. This is for you Gen Xers out there. Some of you, it's one of those if you know situations. But this is way old school, man. It'll take you back to your childhood, I bet, for some of you. It says, 53 years ago today, Schoolhouse Rock premiered. It says, have you ever wondered who the voice was behind your favorite Schoolhouse Rock songs? And I'll check this out. This is awesome. I don't know if I can. Oh, yeah, I can. Cool. All right, so check this out. This is great.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. Conjunction, junction, how's that function? I got 3 favorite cars that get most of my job.
Excuse me.
Conjunction, junction, what's their function? I got and, but, and, or. They'll take you pretty far. And that's an additive like this and that. And then there's but. That's sort of the opposite, not this, but that. And then there's or, when you have a choice like this or that. And, but, and or gets you pretty far. It gets you pretty far. Yes. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up 2 boxcars and making them run right. What? Milk and honey, bread, butter, peas and rice. Hey, that's nice. Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or two. He was.
There you go. So, yeah, some of you guys are going to remember that. That's definitely some old school Gen X. But, those animations were so smart. They really educated you on things, As much as you really don't want it. Definitely, as a little kid, didn't really care to be educated, but it happened. Because it was also catchy. His voice was great. Animation was cool. Those are the days, right? This is breaking. Caroline Leavitt just announced President Trump is sending whole government after Tim Walz and Minnesota to uncover fraud. So this is nice. Let's see here.
Government effort. We are surging resources. You saw today the Department of Homeland Security announced we have nearly 2,000 agents from the Homeland Security Investigations Team. The FBI is on the ground, and we're freezing money. HHS cut off funding for child care centers and for daycares. USDA Secretary Rollins has been asking Governor Walz to see the recipients of SNAP in his state. So this is all hands on deck, rest assured. It's a top priority for President Trump. And he believes that Governor Walz is criminally liable. And I think the Department of Justice is going to find out.
Okay. So, yeah, it's true, though. That is one thing we've seen. There's a lot of action on this. So, all right. So we'll see where it goes, man. It's always good to see that stuff uncovered. This is pretty crazy. This guy drove 500 miles to Los Angeles to rescue a German Shepherd who is red listed to be taken out. And because of you'll see, some kind of wacky mix-up or something and some wacky California rules. This happened. What is it? Huh? What? Did you guys hear him? What? What's on your mind, sir? Say something. Don't just stare at me. Stare at me creepily, as pets do sometimes.
What's wrong with the dog? It showed consumer behavior.
And why can't I get the dog?
Because it had a behavior score of 3.
But whose fault is it, though? That's the question. But you said earlier about the computer system.
No. Somebody inputted it and put it ready to go home. Which it wasn't supposed to.
So I drove 500 miles for no reason because somebody put something in the computer system wrong.
I'm sorry about that.
All right, thank you.
It's such a shame. You know what I mean? It really is just some stupid red tape stuff. And, here's somebody totally willing to adopt this animal that nobody else would. And there you go. That's what you get. It says, I went into Minnesota Hilton, who apologized for banning DHS agents and exposed them for continuing to ban the agents. So, yeah, it's true. So, as you know, there was this big public apology after they realized, or it made big social media about how the Hilton was denying entrance to federal agents, kind of like some of the restaurants out there in Minnesota, same area. They came out, said they were sorry and all that, so this young man went back to one of them that was previously not letting feds in to see what happened.
All right, and wish me luck.
All right, good luck.
That is straight up black ice. Hello, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Do you have any rooms for tonight?
You should, yeah.
Okay. Like how many? Could we get like 10? 10? Yeah, I know that might be.
Did you already make reservations, Clint?
No.
No. What's the name?
It would be just Nick. I just put it under my personal. I don't know if you can use a government rate or not, but.
It depends because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Is it, what agency is it for? Using the
Well,
government rate?
it'd be Department Homeland Security.
So we're not accepting people from immigration, ICE agents, DHS into our property. It's just our management ownership.
Oh, okay, I thought that changed today. Was that?
I just talked to my the owner of the building, and he didn't say there has been any changes. So
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just policy, That
Yeah, I mean
they
that's
said.
not your fault. Totally,
Yeah.
Totally get that. So they actually said that was like, I mean, honestly, this is the most convenient location. So
Right.
it's like, so they told you no, that there's no.
Yeah, no immigration.
Well, DHS isn't all.
Yeah.
Immigration. Okay. Okay. So even with the thing that they said earlier, where they mentioned that there was a statement that they put out, saying that they accept everybody and. Well, here
I
I can.
haven't been informed. I can call my owner right now if you want.
Yeah.
And ask him what's.
That'd probably be good. Just trying
Yeah.
to figure it out. So because it's somebody said, I didn't know it was this location, but Ever Peak Hospitality, right?
I'm new here,
Okay.
so I don't really know what's.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Poor
so,
kid.
Yeah, I'll just call him. Ask
Yeah,
him
that's
see what's.
fine.
Can't even
Just
grow a
to be
mustache.
clear, like
Right,
I'm not
no,
trying
I
to cause any
understand.
problems. It's just
Right,
like
no, yeah,
it's
yeah.
11 o'clock now,
Right.
so
Yeah. I
it's
get
just-
it. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Better. Said you better. Said you better. Dude pretends to be gone.
Yeah. So nobody's answering my calls right now.
Okay.
Because of the time.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is Everpeak though, and they said Everpeak Hospitality has moved swiftly to address this matter as it was inconsistent with our policy of being a welcoming Hilton and in the Hampton Inn out here, and Everpeak Hospitality lied.
All right, there we go. It's reporting from Nick Swordtor, not to be confused with Nick Shirley. Two different people, two different reporters. Congressional Dems held a candlelit vigil in honor, of course, for the whole shenanigans and hijinks from 5 years ago, early January, as you understand. That's one of those things they hold on to, right? It's for years and years and years. It's just funny how they'll do this. They're also all the ones that got in front of the camera and bent their knee literally, if you guys remember all those days. I understand that they handed out commemorative tampons at this event, but only for the men. All right, moving on. It says New York, consider this your official notice from the Justice Department. Oh boy. Let's see what she says.
Just because you're white doesn't mean you have fewer rights in this country. We all have equal rights in our country, and we will not stand for New York City violating any federal law whatsoever. They should be on notice. They are on high scrutiny, and we will swoop right in and do what's necessary to protect all citizens and taxpayers and residents of New York where they're illegally. Just because you're white doesn't mean you have fewer rights in this country. We all have equal rights in our country, and we will not stand for New York City violating any federal law whatsoever. They should be on notice. They are on high scrutiny, and we will swoop right in and do what's necessary to protect all citizens and taxpayers and residents of New York.
All right, there we go. See you do it, lady. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. He's already making some big moves. It's bumming a lot of people out. It says Greenland and Denmark just begged to meet with Secretary Rubio is the claim. Let's check this out. Having to do with the Monroe Doctrine, really, overall. I think I have a clip on that coming up. Seems like that's really what it is, but everything conglomerating, pulling together into one. Maybe for a while, America owns the Western Hemisphere. But ultimately, we know it's all going to go into the hands of one, and everything will be in one. So this kind of furthers the process without, you see what I'm saying? It's already happening. It's furthering the process of a one world system being pulled in together.
He felt very strongly we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge, so we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. He felt very
There we
strongly.
go. So that's another one. There's so much action happening, really. It's crazy. There's just so much happening right now. Do the best we can to keep track of it. Says this is why Hollywood's terrified of AI. This new AI relight tool on Higgs field can simulate film studio and change the source light direction, color, exposure, and even softness. Says AI is taking over film studios, and here's how to use it. It's called Higgs Field Relight Studio, if you want to go check that out, but that's really incredible. There you go. Interesting. Yep. There you go, man. It's amazing technology coming into the living room of anybody for any age. And they can make little masterpieces, with no background, no talent, really. Says we're so lucky we have Elon Musk standing up for free speech, this young man says. Dylan Page, I never heard of him, but he announced he's going to have to stop posting on TikTok. They removed 5 videos in 2 days, all of it on the Venezuela situation. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know who he is, but that's a lot. So if he's being targeted, you throw it out there. I do. Has to leave TikTok for a little bit. Says California fraud bombshell just dropped. Whistleblowers expose up to $250 billion in taxpayer theft across state. Oh boy, I'll let him say.
Which brings us to a different kind of fraud. Ghost daycares. And whistleblowers tell GOP candidates that California could be losing $250 billion in the state's education system, including reports of fake community college applications, scamming student aid funds. Which brings us to a different kind of fraud. Ghost daycares. And whistleblowers.
Okay, this is a short report, short clip. All right, thanks, sir. Whoever you are. Oh, Will Kane. That was his name. Cool name. Will Kane. Strong name, right? Sounds like, strong neighbor you want in the apocalypse. I think we're going to need to call Will Kane for this one. Machine Gun Kelly says that the pyramids were built using frequencies on Logan Paul's interview with him. It's pretty interesting stuff, man. We know he's into the Hollywood occult stuff and all this. So, perhaps they know some things that others don't that's been hidden, just to perhaps. But this is a really interesting theory on how they did it. One of the ways they did it. Check it out.
Well, I want to hear your hot take on the pyramids. They were built with frequency. Like those stones were literally picked up with levitated. Like they still. I don't know why this isn't even publicized, but there were dishes, right, round, massive sized bowls, discovered all around the perimeter of the pyramid, in which I love this study of this guy who he went. I don't know if he had cancer. I don't know what it was, but he essentially, this was in the early 1900s, so like 1920s era. He went over to Tibet or to India, somewhere in East Asia, and he got footage of them because he was embraced by them because to fix his sickness or something like that. And he was embraced by them, and they trusted him enough to show them this process of how they pick these massive cylinders up, and they would have yaks drag the blocks over these big bowls, and then they would point giant horns and huge drums. Like all the sound was focused, maybe in like a half cylinder like this towards this one point, and they would play it and they would chant and they would hum.
Wow. Never heard that exact explanation, but oh boy, there's the loony bin in the background. You can probably hear him. Excuse me, I'm chewing on a cinnamon disc. It's my favorite. If I ever have candy, it's a favorite thing I like to have around is occasionally some kind of a cinnamon hard candy. Big fan of that. Anyway, there you go. MGK with an interesting explanation. This gentleman's talking about what happens when you fast. It's pretty cool. I always like to hear this. It really motivates me. Doesn't mean I actually go do it, but I know I keep telling myself I mean to.
Look at me. If it don't hurt your flesh, it's not a fast.
Okay.
I'm not talking about these little whack American fasts where you say, I'm going to stop watching TV for a week. That ain't fasting. People have fasted and been delivered from things that had them bound for years. When we fast, we take authority over the flesh. And we tell the flesh, you have no power over me. When we fast, we draw closer to God. When you fast, your body grows weak, but your spirit grows strong. Take the first week of the year. These next 7 days, hear me, to tell your flesh you have no authority over me. To tell that thing that you're wrapped in that brings you pain and hardship. Say, you have no authority over me. I will consecrate. I will fast. I will pray. I will seek the face, not the hand, the face of my Savior.
Love it. Good one. Nice. Sometimes, I'm not big into a lot of the big stage preachers, but every now and then you find some that are just, you can feel they're speaking from the Spirit, and it's beautiful, and it's good stuff. You know what I mean? Here's a cool thing. Armenia is on track to welcome the world's tallest statue of Jesus. And this is actually posted back in 2024. I just stumbled upon it this week. I need to go look at the most recent. But what's interesting is, of course, we have a 33-meter statue of Jesus on a 44-meter pedestal, which is also Obama's number. There's a lot of coding with that one, perhaps, on this. Will soon rise on Mount Hattus. Preparations for the installation of the statue are coming to an end. So it's interesting. There you go. Let's see if there's any other pictures here. Oh, there's a big one. That. Whoa. There you go. 33 and a 44. Pretty interesting. And moving on. California defies deadline on immigration trucker license. Saw this earlier. Excuse me. Woke NYC mayoral aide who says whites owning homes is racist has her $1.4 million secret revealed. So there's that one. She is with mom in the background. Telling New York, well, white people, sorry. Here it comes. In November 2019, a young woman went into an abandoned 22-story building. This is kind of crazy. To film the place, it had been empty for years except for a few security guards. A young man, sorry. It says when he reached the 10th floor, he pointed his camera down the stairs, thought he saw someone in black moving up the stairs unusually fast. He got scared. A loud sound echoed, and his live stream suddenly stopped. Later, people said his phone was found on the higher stairs, still recording. The man was safe, but too shocked to explain what happened. And it says, what do you think about it? Could it be a ghost, a djinn, or something else entirely? Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Check this out, what he sees. It happens pretty quick, but you'll see. Something's chasing him. I'm going to try to find where it gets close. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to slow it down. Oops. Yeah, we got it. Let's play it now. Super as slow as it'll go. There it is. See it? It does look like it's all black. Whatever it is. That's what I was waiting on. Let's see if I can stop it. There it is. So there's one part of it, maybe the arm of it. But it looks like a humanoid, like an all-black human figure almost. Yeah, it looked like an arm, and now it's going to the side. Now look. So like that's probably the left leg, I guess, there. The right leg's behind it coming up, and then that's a profile of it. I mean, it does look like all black, doesn't it? Right, Chubbs? Say it louder, sir. You don't have to hold back with me. Yeah. Good boy. Alright, so there's that. Let's go a little more. There's that. That just kind of... Then he goes. Yeah, so it's coming up quick. Alright, so there we go. As always, you decide. I wanted to share this because Jaime Maussan, a famous UFOologist and supernatural researcher from Mexico, says the so-called racing tracks are inexplicable light phenomenon. Same thing that around these parts we call ghost lights. He does a whole report on, and he's got several examples of these you-know-who's, the ghost lights. I believe it's part of the Beam project myself. But he's got different examples of these showing up, so let's check some of these out from him.
On May 14, 2022, in the town of Yokohama in Japan, during the night, several people managed to capture the movements of the lights at a speed that was difficult to calculate. Even the police services received reports from all sectors of the city. The lights could be seen from different areas, and this resulted in the generation of different images. The following day, on May 15, 2022, the same type of lights were once again seen crossing the sky in this extraordinary way in the city of Tokyo. When investigating the origin of these lights, the only thing that could be determined was that they covered a distance of 8 kilometers and then disappeared. There is no device that projects this type of light into the sky, so this possibility is completely ruled out. Could these be signals or an attempt at communication?
See? You've seen that before.
It should be noted that these lights move horizontally across the sky at considerable speeds, moving away until they are lost from sight. Contrary to what some believe, these are not vertical projections similar to reflectors or trackers. The objects move completely freely, following trajectories and patterns that are impossible to replicate with current technology.
The phenomenon grew and became increased.
Richmond, Canada, the recording reveals a great peculiarity when we observe that the light signals in the sky move at an extraordinary speed, traveling kilometers in just a few moments and returning to the nucleus in the same surprising way. Even in slow motion, the movement is seen very quickly. The possibility that they are light cannons is ruled out. No aces coming from the surface are seen, and there is no way that the light from reflectors can cover great distances as we are seeing in this video. On the night of February 6, 2024, the town of Sofia in Bulgaria became the scene of an unprecedented visual enigma. The so-called racing tracks appeared on the common sky. Perfectly aligned, luminous trails that cross the sky with amazing symmetry. An extraordinary event.
All right, so I'm going to stop there. But again, and there's even more on here. There's some.
On Wednesday, November 13, 2024, residents of the town of New Orleans in Louisiana, United States, reported
All around the world. Some more.
Intense lights were recorded
Big time. Look at that.
before executing.
My God, they're here, guys. They're here. There's some of that. You know, they do crazy stuff like that sometimes too. Yeah, I definitely believe it's the beam, if you know what I mean. Been doing it for years. They have been. It says people are betting fortunes on Jesus' return, and they could win big if he appears in 2026. Holy rollers, it says, are gambling millions of dollars. I haven't heard about this of you. On whether Jesus will return for his second coming. The punters placed $2.5 million on betting the Messiah would make a comeback on Earth in 2025. Okay. Second coming flutters soared last Easter, and for those who bet no against the probability of God's Son returning to mortals, at the time the investment returned a tidy annual profit of 5.5%. Yes, there was a strong enough believers to keep the probability of Christ's return by the end of 2025 above 3%. All right, there you go. And there it is. It's not cool to play around like that with that kind of a thing. You know that. Or try to guess and guesstimate. Humanoid robots deal card to grab groceries at CES 2026 from Reuters. Let's check some of this out.
Humanoid robots are in the spotlight at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
They better be.
This one can grab groceries, while this robot deals cards for gamblers. Meet Galbot's humanoid. It's showing off its ability to work in retail stores fetching items from shelves. Galbot's head of overseas marketing, Yvonne Yuan, says it can operate fully autonomously in such environments.
Basically, customers place order on an iPad, you receive the order, and they'll go retrieve the product that they received. And also they're working in warehouses, in factories, in pharmacies as well.
Other companies showcase robots that can dance, while these look almost human. But one robotics firm brought a touch of Las Vegas flair to the show. Its robot can pick up a deck of cards and deal hands for a game of blackjack.
I'm gonna deal a card to the player on my left.
Sharpa Global VP Alicia Veneziani said the demonstration highlights the robot's AI capabilities.
Dealing parts is pretty difficult for a robot. So you see that it needs to manipulate an object that is flexible and thin. It's quite difficult and it does it pretty well. So this highlights the dexterity of our hands. But not only that, it needs to think through what's happening in the game and make decisions. So it also highlights the reasoning ability and the AI capabilities that we have to make, robots interact with people and accomplish actions.
Sounds cool, I guess. Right? Sounds good, I guess. All right, let's see. Moving on. Getting ready for that transhuman
What do you mean
future.
that doctors are begging people to stop eating these horse treats and nobody's listening? So by now you've probably seen this trend going around where people are eating horse candy treats. That's right, people are literally going down to the animal food store, and this is where it gets more worser. It all started with this horse girl, and she knows what she's doing. But then her video went viral and it started a massive trend. And other horse girls started doing it where they're trying more different flavors. And these horse girls who are professionals and are eating these are only eating like one bite. And nobody should be eating more than like one bite of these, because not only do these treats have like 6 or 7 times the amount of sugar I would ever eat in a day, and some people are literally loving these snacks so much, like they're saying that they're more better than real life candy, that some people are literally eating one of these horse candies a day. And not only are these horse candies literally made in animal factories where there is a massive risk of cross-contamination with animal food, these things literally say not for human consumption on the wrapper, because while horses eat 30,000 calories a day and maybe eat one of these, humans are only supposed to consume like 3,000, and eating too many of these could lead to diabetes, and they would maybe have to chop your foot off. Would you ever eat a horse treat? What do you mean that doctors are begging people to stop eating?
Yeah, have you guys heard about this trend? I'm gonna have to look more into that. So I personally am not into it myself, but anybody out there like the horse treats? Says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio informed Congress the U.S. intends to purchase Greenland, so there's more on that. A lot of movement that way, it would seem. This one's been taken down. Oh boy. Says that's their goal, a single-party state for all of America and the de facto destruction of democracy. This is from Elon Musk.
In some cases, like 700% increases in the past 3.5 years in illegals in swing states. What a coincidence. And when you're talking about elections that are won or lost by 10 or 20,000 votes, and then you bring in 200,000 people, and then you put them on the fast track to citizenship. This is without considering any cheating. This is legalized. If that happens over the next 4 years, there will be no swing states. They're importing voters. That is I think that's obvious to anyone who looks, and we will have a situation like we have in California, where it's a one-party state. California is a super majority Dem state, and so it's one-party rule. And if you have one-party rule, that's not a democracy.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, remember though, I do, is that he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I definitely appreciate everything X has to offer right now. He's under attack by the globalists, which is pretty interesting for the free speech, as you know. Over here on X, says this so-called free speech, I know, says the spacewalk was broadcast live on TV. People are so easily fooled. Can you believe this? Is this real? Did this happen? Hope not.
Radio command link. Actually, it's a link along that tether line you see there, 25 feet of umbilical cord. That contains the life support system and communications link from the spacecraft life support system out through that chest pack. Radio command link.
There you go. So I don't know. I wonder if anybody asked if that was an AI down here. It's hard to say these days, of course. Still wouldn't be surprised, though. It's kind of nonsensical, the whole thing, as you know. Says, is this real? Based on all information I could find, it 100% is. It says they're serious with this new product. What do you guys think about this? Would you own one of these?
Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. Morning, Joey. You were snoring again. Definitely wear your favorite green jacket. Look, now we're really vibing. Have a good day. Hey, cutie.
Hi, Amanda. Great brainstorming last night.
Actually, I need more.
What if we flip the design here? Do you think it can work?
Nice. I think you're onto something.
Whole day, soldier. We need more air support.
Yeah.
Whoa, clean
Did you see
shot.
that?
Nice one.
Oof. Maybe aim for the head next time? Break line of sight.
Switch to burst fire mid-range.
GG, that was amazing. Ready to go again? This is Project Ava, your AI desk companion.
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think? That's something that Elon released not long ago as an AI companion. You've seen that. Thousands of brave Iranians are taking to the streets on the 11th day of the uprising against the Islamic Republic's regime. It says mainstream media is ignoring this, but look at these numbers here. Whoa. That's a big deal. It's a lot of people. It's beautiful to see. Yeah, so I mean, crazy times, right? Really. Wars, rumors of wars, revolutions, uprisings, all over the place. So trust in Jesus. Certainly, we're in those times, man. If you haven't trusted in him yet, please do. Iranians have taken over an entire city in Iran, driving out the Islamic Republic, and just more videos of that. More videos of massive amounts of people. It says worth 3 minutes. Let's check this out.
I was a helicopter mechanic and a crew chief in August of 1998. When we weren't busy de-icing the aircraft and working on them, we had time to hang out with the scientists at the research station. The military unit attached to McMurdo was small and we didn't have our own separate facilities. So over time, I got to be friends with a few of them. They had 2 different kinds of ice they worked on and studied. This is where it gets interesting. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear and sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice. This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue. He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear our thick, heavy going outside gloves to handle it. The stuff was so cold, it would instantly freeze your skin if you touched it. I don't remember what the temperature he said it was, but it was something like hundreds of degrees below zero, way colder than the normal ice that was outside. He had to carry it in a metal bottle that was kind of like a thermos. He let me play with the piece of it for a while. It felt lighter than a piece of normal ice of the same size, like it wasn't very heavy at all. It almost felt like you could throw it up in the air and it would just float back down. But I didn't try that. And it was also a little flexible when I tried to bend it. It didn't break like normal ice would. And even for a small piece, you could see through it. It was solid blue right from the surface. And here's the really weird part. It didn't melt into water. When it got warm, because we had it inside, it just started to shrink. It got smaller and smaller, but my glove never got wet. And there was no water on the floor. The stuff just turned into thin air.
Interesting. I like it. Makes you wonder. Could it be? Says breaking, it has now been revealed the state of California had a policy to prohibit firefighters from putting out fires in state parks due to, quote, rare plants. So not good. More developing always on those situations, it seems. Says everyone panicked when a kitten fell into this panther enclosure. I didn't never see any AI. Usually they'll have a message down here. This is posted 4 days ago. So let's check some of this out.
Oh boy. Here. Good job. You're a nice little one. How cute. Thank you, buddy.
There we go. That's nice, right? Beautiful. Nice little doom break. Believe it's real, as far as I can tell so far. Waiter encounters Jesus. This is really cool. I don't know who this man is, but someone said, I guess his name's Todd White or something. Yeah, Todd White. And of course somebody's down here talking negative against him, but I don't know. Again, he's a brother in Christ. I don't follow him, but I looked him up after this a little bit. He's been around for a while. And no one's perfect, man. We're all human. I don't know. I try to give brothers and sisters room to, make mistakes myself. But let's check this out. This is really good.
Why is the threat of me not loving him being in hell and burned?
Who told you that?
The Bible.
The Bible taught you that?
I was born.
The Bible didn't teach you that. People did.
Well, I was in a household full
of people that didn't live it.
Mm.
So you've allowed that to push you away from the one person that loves you. That's sad, man.
But it was taken from the Bible, though.
No.
Because I went to church school.
It was taken from religion. So religion hurt you, but you don't have a relationship with Jesus. Now you contest the very thing that tries to love you.
But how do I know Jesus is real?
What do you mean? How do I know you're real?
I'm right in front of you.
Okay, so...
Jesus is in front of me, though.
Jesus was right in front of 500 eyewitnesses after he was crucified and resurrected. 500 credible eyewitnesses in the flesh.
Here?
They were there, but 100 years from now, when you're dead and people say that you were living, does that make it wrong? Or did you live? Come on, man, think with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. You've allowed your mind to be God, and that right there is trauma. He loves you, dude. I was a drug addict for 22 years, buddy. I was an atheist, and I contested everything like you're contesting a little bit right now, except I was evil, angry, and people are dead because of my life that I lived. And I didn't believe in any of the Christianity because I saw so many hypocrites, there's so many liars, so many thieves, so many people that claim one thing and lived another, and you saw that in your life. So now you've allowed that to paint a picture of who Jesus is. I did too. So here I am trying to tell all these Christians that they're liars, that they're thieves, that they're this. And I'm thinking, like, if there's a God and he's good, then why is all this bad stuff happening? Why are little kids being molested? Why are priests molesting kids? Why is all this stuff happening? So I was angry, and I had the same contesting heart that you have right now, because I was pushed around, all this stuff was happening. So here I had no idea who about this God that loved me, right? So profuse, right? So I'm going after this. So I grew up in a children's home, started drugs. So I was an atheist, but inside I knew there was something more. There had to be something more, dude. Like, this world isn't everything. There's got to be something more. Everybody knows that. But like, you've got Christians that aren't living the life. So you've got Catholics that aren't living the life. So now they're trying to tell you about their God, and then they threaten you with hell. And so threatening you with hell doesn't make you come to heaven. Threatening you with hell just makes you mad, because if anybody's going to hell, the Christians that threaten you with it are going, right? So here I am. I have this encounter with a God that I didn't believe in. He loves me, stops me from getting shot at. Come on, dude. I leave this program 2 months later. I come home, and my girlfriend had the same encounter that I did when I was gone. And we got married, and we've been married for 19 years. And I traveled the world to preach the gospel, buddy. The one that you might not believe in, but he believes in you. And I love you, and I'm sorry that you got hurt by religion. But one day, you're going to face Jesus, and you're going to answer for your life. And all the contesting, and all the fighting, and all the arguing that you do, you're going to stand before God, and your knee is going to bow. It's going to be forced to bow that day, or it's going to willingly bow in this life. So you talk to the right guy today, bro, because I've been through it. I've been through it all. He loves me, and I was the most unlovable guy on the planet. He loves you, and you should surrender and give your heart to Jesus, not religion, because you've been hurt and abused and all that stuff. And the reason why you are the way you are is because you didn't see it walked out, but you've encountered a guy today that lives it and walks it out. And I love you, man. I don't want nothing from you, but I love you. Can I give you a hug? Come on, bro.
No, you guys.
If you want to. I do. Bless you, man. It's nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet
What's your name?
Fredo.
Fredo. It's a blessing to meet you, man. I love you, bro. Come on, man. What do you think of that?
Your story did give me a new perspective.
Hey.
Not about.
Come on. Yeah.
That's all.
But he died for your sin.
Yeah.
But not just to get you to heaven. He died to put heaven inside of you. Why don't you give your life to him, man? What are you waiting for? Would you surrender and let him come live inside of you? Would you? Would you pray with me right now and invite the Holy Spirit to come and make his home inside of you? Would you do it?
Yeah.
Come on, give me your hand.
Pretty amazing. There we go. That's kind of awesome, right? Love it. So well done, sir. But then there's people that, this guy is no good. He did this. He once said that. It's like, chill out. Because who's the accuser of the brethren? You know what I mean? See that spirit in a lot of people. Young men gather on a New York City. I mean, obviously, there's one way to do it. It's not that way. Young men gather on a New York City subway to pray, completely unashamed. Says this made this person's day. Me too. I love seeing this. It's the way to do it right here. Anyway, that's about it, but I like to see it. It's good to see. Good to see young men. Good to see gentlemen. Residents in a neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York are now complaining that they're forced to listen to the Islamic call to prayer 5 times a day, starting as early as 5 a.m. And here we go, New York. It's haunting. Always chilling. Yeah, it's haunting and kind of chilling. It's just got that thing, right? To me, I've never. It's just me. It never brings me to a feeling of peace and calm. Major breaking: Iranian police in one of the cities has now joined the revolution. So again, eyes on. Oh man, this is nuts. Yeah, eyes on Iran. This one right here, really incredible. Again, I wish I could make this a bigger screen, but some of these it just won't let you. But this is really good. It's amazing. Check this out. He put a camera to one of these goats, a mountain goat, and the ability they have to kind of run along the side of the mountain. Just check this out. It's crazy. Incredible, isn't it? It really is. I mean, wow. Like these little things, man. They're little, like little, little superstars over here. Or what am I thinking of? Yeah, like heroes, comic book heroes or something. Trump says U.S. to ban large investors from buying homes. I thought this is a really cool move because, as you know, a lot of the rocks have been buying up all the industry, and then how pricing people out of homes, just regular folks, and the prices are so crazy, as you know, and the whole deal. So at least he's trying to do something about that. So I'm glad to see that. Hopefully that totally goes through for people. Also, President Trump just withdrew the U.S. from 66 foreign organizations, including 31 UN entities and 35 non-United Nation groups who don't serve our interests, which is pretty cool. Real cool, actually. Big move. All right, let's see. As far as the world order goes.
You're wrong in your question. Number one, Venezuela is a major source, and the reason why is the following. And I've seen a lot of this reporting, and it's fake reporting, and I'll tell you why. It says that somehow Venezuela is not involved in the drug trade because the UN says they're not involved in the drug. I don't care what the UN says. The UN doesn't know what they're talking about. Maduro is indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York. That means the Southern District of New York presented the evidence to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted him. And then a superseding indictment came out that was unsealed about a year and a half ago that specifically detailed Maduro's actions. So number one, let there be no doubt, Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and he's a fugitive of American justice. You're wrong in your question. Number one.
All right, there we go. Marco Rubio, also a big name in the UFO disclosure movement there. New York City mayoral candidate Sia Weaver, who says whites owning houses is a racist, burst into tears when asked about her mother's $1.4 million Craftsman home. You knew that was coming. And she was, all right, so nonsense from some of these people, right? What's good for thee is not for me, or however that works. Here's a really interesting one, even just kind of the physical manifestation of it, but introducing the new food pyramid. Excuse me, it's been flipped upside down, which is, I think, pretty cool. It also makes more sense. It's like the beast, some jerk in the beast system flipped it upside down, screwing people over with the whole idea that it's better to be a vegetarian. Meanwhile, people aren't strong as they used to be. Need more protein. So protein, dairy, and healthy fats at the top. Fresh vegetables and fruit. Love it. See, that's all good, right? Then work your way down. I like that. That's good. Higher protein. But isn't that something? They literally flipped the pyramid. Ending the war on protein. Every meal must prioritize high-quality, nutrient-dense protein from both animal and plant sources, paired with healthy fats from whole foods such as eggs, seafood, meats, full fat, dairy. All of it sounds good to me. Nuts, seeds, olives, and avocados. All right. Flipping the pyramid indeed. I'm down. No pun intended. I don't know where this came from. I don't know if somebody independently made this, but it was on Secretary Kennedy. RFK Jr. posted this. So I don't know if a fan made this or if South Park actually made this sometime. You decide.
The pyramid doesn't work. We've already tried it.
It's upside down.
What?
Sir, the pyramid is upside down.
Turn the pyramid upside down. You can't be serious. That would put butter and fat at the top of the damn food pyramid! Get the president on the phone. Tell him to have some steak with his butter. The pyramid doesn't work. We've already tried it.
Somebody said it was an actual episode. Okay, that's cool. I really didn't know. Nice to know, though. Thanks for letting us know. Thanks for keeping us in the loop, as people say. Do people still say that? Mm-hmm. Spencer Pratt, a very interesting character out in California and Los Angeles. Now he's running for mayor because his family was really affected by this, the fire disaster that happened out there. The interesting one, as we know now, there seems to be plans. How odd and how that works, right? Either way, he's the real deal, I believe. And it's funny, he has a background in reality TV. Him and his wife, Heidi, they met on, that's here on the bottom screen, actually, I think. But they met on a reality TV show, got married, and been on multiple shows. He was oftentimes framed as the bad guy. But anyway, here he is. They're all grown up. They have kids. They lost everything. And here's his speech. I think it's pretty powerful. I didn't know they were actual victims like
I'm
this.
here today to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the worst day of my life. On January 7th, 2025, Heidi and I lost our home. We lost every material possession we owned. My parents lost their home too, and with it, decades of memories made inside those walls. I grew up in the Palisades. I moved through these streets thinking my 2 boys would grow up here just like I did, with that same hometown feeling. But then right before my eyes, the future I envisioned for my family burned to the ground. Standing here 1 year later, I have to tell you the most heartbreaking part of the past year wasn't being displaced or losing everything I own. It was the realization that all of this was preventable. We are standing here amongst the ashes of our once beautiful town because the state and local leaders let us burn. Gavin Newsom and the state of California let brush grow wild in Topanga State Park for 50 years with no prescribed burns and no wildfire maintenance. Gavin Newsom and the state of California created an insurance market so hostile that every major carrier stopped writing policies and dropped our families and our neighbors just before the sparks flew here in the Palisades. Gavin Newsom and his state park policies actually, literally dictated that we let the Palisades burn.
I'll stop there. This goes on for a while. I just wanted to share some, but cool to see him actually getting involved. And yeah, I mean, he was obviously seriously affected, him and his family. I showed some of this on last night's show about the sky squids, the Dementors, but wanted to give Disclosed Screen, the Grim Reaper, a shout out. He's a channel I found many years ago, around the time I found Hidden Underbelly 2.0. Great channels, cover a lot of the stuff we all like around here. So I've shared a lot of their clips through the years, but he ended up going through a health issue that took him off course for a while, and he's back. And so he's trying to get his YouTube channel back up and running again. So just letting you know, if you like some of the supernatural, paranormal, cryptid, UFO type videos, he shares that kind of stuff all the time. So just letting you guys know about Disclosed Screen, the Grim Reaper. And like I said, we shared the ending clips here about those little guys last night. All right. Thanks, Disclosed Screen. Glad you're back. Welcome back. Says, and so it begins, and if this isn't stopped now, it will spread like wildfire throughout every major in the U.S. city, is the claim. Let's see what this young man has to say. It seems like it's important.
Take a look at the video. Take a look at the video coming out of Brooklyn on the corner of 4th Avenue and Atlantic Drive.
Okay.
And then after watching this video, you come back and leave it to the comments and tell me that this is what you voted for.
All right.
Come back into the comments and tell me that this is what you voted for.
All right.
Here is Atlantic. We are hearing Azam. Come here. I think we may putting up Texas one. Yeah.
Scary. It sounds like something being played backwards. Actually, that would be some interesting stuff to play backwards, man. If any of y'all have a recorder with that software. Yeah, that'd be some interesting stuff to play backwards for sure. I used to have one of my old phones years ago. I had a recorder thing that you could use. You could say something and it would change your voice to whatever sound you wanted it to sound like. It was real crazy. But it also had the ability of playing things backwards. And this is years ago, back when I learned that when Obama says thank you, or whenever they say yes we can, which is one of Obama's slogans, that playing that backwards says thank you Satan. If you guys ever heard that, you should try it if you ever have access to one of those kind of apps. But I need to download it again and then play some of this music they play, so-called music of the prayers, backwards. just to see what pops. You know, I ain't scared. Here's some video footage of Armenia I found. How big that is. So it's done. It's actually been built. I don't know if that's where they permanently are placing it. It looks kind of messy around there. It looks like a junkyard. You'd think they'd maybe put it on a mountain or something. I don't know how they're going to move that now, though. You know? How do you move that? It's not something you want to screw up on and break. Have an accident. Oh, sorry. Crack, right? Maybe clean up the area around it, I'm just saying. So the door of St. Peter's Basilica was just closed. It says whoever got in, got in. Whoever didn't will only get in 25 years from now, is the claim. Look, it looks like some kind of a monster on the ground behind him. To me, it did. Already. It's like the eyes on the top. Looks like a demon. Eyes on the top. It looks like there's the nose in the center, and there's a mustache. And then there's the black mouth, the grin, and then there's the chin, dimple in the chin. You see that? Also kind of looks like a clown with the crazy cheeks, doesn't it? And it looks like it's got little lightning bolts on the side of its head going out on the top and the bottom. But on the top makes it look more kind of like a clown too. So crazy eyes, looks like it's glowing eyes at the top. You see the pointy nose, right, coming down. The mustache. That also looks like the wings of Isis. Kind of reminds me of that. Then you've got the grin on the bottom, and then you've got the chin dimple. Isn't that crazy? Some people saying Dagon, the pit, villain from Sonic, clown face. People are seeing it. Yeah, interesting, isn't it, though? You see it too. There's definitely something there. Someone said, how adorable. If you talk about that or not. Clown face. Dr. Robotnik. Alright, there we go. So cool. Interesting. It's one I need to come back to and check out. I wish there's a way to get some more footage of inside there. I'll have to figure it out. I'm sure there is somewhere. Maybe there's one of those 3D tours you can take. You know what I'm saying? And then all that's kind of weird and cryptic on the walls or on the doors. And there he goes. All right. Good job, sir, I guess. Let me save that away somewhere else, too. All right. Interesting one, I'd say. Says this is creeping people out. At 2 a.m. in Las Vegas, a witness took a late-night break and captured terrifying sounds coming from empty warehouses. So what do you think about this? Paranormal encounter or something else? Is there somebody in these? They're not supposed to be, it seems. You decide.
2 in the morning when he captured something unusual, something that sends shivers down his spine. What sounds like people screaming coming out of some warehouses that were literally empty. Nobody should be there. It's in the middle of the night or early morning hours. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think.
Man, it's a noise going on by the warehouse. Can't even hear it. Listen.
I can hear it.
I'm at work. It's 2 in the morning over here.
Scary. He's getting scared.
Ain't nothing over there. I'm about to show y'all.
Better.
Let me fully get to that corner. I'm hearing noise. Ain't nothing over there.
Jump the fence.
Did you hear it?
I did.
I'm going to play it again.
You better.
And I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit. Could this be a sign of trafficking? Or maybe it's something else.
Probably.
Be sure to listen closely. and comment below.
Sounds like a bunch of terrifying screams to me, but who knows? Then it disappeared the closer he got, you know? So I don't know. Should he follow? Would you follow the voices? You know? Jump the fence, maybe go around the fence, somehow get in there. Walk around calling out, "Hello, anybody? Anybody? Are you there?" In one of them. Then all of a sudden you hear like it unlocks. You're like, oh, cool. Or not. Trump just banned BlackRock from buying up single-family homes. So here's this whole long spiel on it, which is awesome. So again, that's a good move. Good move for the people, for the housing market. Owners are forced, speaking of which, owners forced to sell off their homes now for almost nothing after New York City court rules billionaire landlord can increase ground rent by 450%. And that's from the New York Post. So there we go. A lot of the really wealthy people are getting burned. This is pretty crazy. Well, it says Baba Vanga did not write down her predictions, many attributed to her unverified fabrications. The claim is Baba Vanga predicted alien spaceship would enter Earth's atmosphere and outbreak of World War III for 2026. So we'll see. I've seen a lot of these come and go. A lot of these predictions come and go. Governor Tim Walz has just officially authorized the Minnesota National Guard to support national or local law enforcement against the feds. So that's crazy. That was from the 8th, so just a couple days ago. See what becomes of this.
We only found one and
Here's a channel I like, Small Brained American. It's got kind of a naughty mouth, but otherwise goes around the world to some really cool places. But I hadn't really seen someone get this close to a pyramid. I guess it was striking how amazingly big these things are. Look at this.
wow, this is
Look at the size of
shattering
that.
my expectations of the pyramids. I just had nothing but lovely interactions with every single person. Obviously, people trying to make a buck here and there, but the cop wouldn't even take the bribe.
I'm just saying, it was a short moment, but just look at that, man. That is amazing. Look at all those bricks, right? All of them. All the way up to that top. You just saw the top here in a second.
Wow, this is shattering my expectations of the pyramids. I just had nothing but lovely interactions with every single person.
Here's the
Obviously,
top.
people trying to make a buck.
Right there, you can see the top. Look at that. That's wild. I mean, it's a good view, right? You see the people sitting over here on some of the lower blocks. Just look how big those things are and how many they are. And they did such a perfect job, you know? So it's really amazing stuff. All right, this is a Small Brained American channel. If you want to see more of that video, more of his wacky hijinks around the world. Trump
Most of the targets in this withdrawal announcement.
Oh, we saw this earlier. Trump pulls U.S. from more than 60 international organizations. That's really cool. It's good, right? It says, imagine the lights go out. A security guard was doing his night shift duty in an empty mall when this was captured. It sounds like he keeps capturing children giggling. See what you think about this. Kind of like the last one. You got to listen closely here.
On everything I love, I just heard a group of kids over here laughing. On everything, bro. I just heard a group of kids laughing. Where the hell the kids at? What the fuck? Bro, I know I'm not tripping, bro. I just heard a whole bunch of kids laughing, bro. You hear that shit? What the fuck? Bro, I'm in the mall by myself. Where the fuck is that shit coming from? I know y'all heard that shit. Bro, what the fuck? I'm about to get about this bitch. What the fuck is that?
See that down there?
What the fuck is that? Staring right at me. Right there.
It's behind that white table.
My heart beating fast as fuck, bro. I'm scared as fuck. There's a person right there. In a red shirt.
Just say hi.
Right in front of me.
Hello. Throw something
Right there, y'all see him.
Throw something at it.
There's a person right there.
Go yell at it.
What the fuck going on? He just standing there. He just standing there, bro.
Talk to him.
Bro.
That's scary. You gotta admit. That's pretty freaky. If that's real, that's actually really a good capture. That's some freaky crap. Yeah, go talk to him. Throw something at him. I don't know. Cast it out. Tim Maltz is very concerned with making his hand symbol just perfect, as you can see here. Trying to remind everybody, hey guys, I'm part of the gang, right? Excuse me, right? I'm part of the gang. Thank you, guys. Don't forget. Don't forget, I'm in. I've been to the lodge. Don't forget me, brothers. Go easy on me, brothers. That's what I read. But nope, don't look like it. There's definitely breaks in the Brotherhood, obviously, and they go after each other and fighting for power and whatnot. Speaking of power, this one's been pretty crazy. Elon Musk posted this. They stopped being funny long ago, but here's something Conan O'Brien, who is always really genuinely a funny person, is talking about the Trump derangement syndrome type stuff.
I think some comics go the route of I'm going to just say F Trump all the time, or that's their comedy. And I think, well, now a little bit you're being co-opted because you're so angry. You've been lulled. It's like a siren leading you into the rocks. You've been lulled into just saying F Trump, F Trump, F Trump, screw this guy, you know. And I think you've now put down your best weapon, which is being funny, and you've exchanged it for anger. And that person or any person like that would say, well, things are too serious now. I don't need to be funny. And I think, well, if you're a comedian, you always need to be funny. You just have to find a way. And you just have to find a way to channel that anger into a way that is, because good art will always be a great weapon. Will always be a perfect weapon against power. But if you're just screaming and you're just angry, you've lost your best tool in the toolbox.
Good stuff, man. Some wisdom, right, in that regard. Yeah, I was just joking around with that last clip. I know you cast these things out in Jesus' name. I'm just being my humor is very dry, I guess. Sorry about that. Greenland and the United States, major power struggle coming. This is from Brandon on Last Days, posted yesterday. Just sharing, but also it's interesting because the movie Greenland 2 is out right now also. So as the movie's coming out, then we see this coming also. In the movie, I think it's considered one of the safest places during some kind of a WW3 type situation. So it's an interesting thing. But anyway, if you want to see more, some of what he's been seeing on Greenland, you can go check it out. Last Days channel.
Tell me what you would do if you were this lady. Do you see how spooked she look?
Yep.
I'm about to show you what it is that she's seeing, y'all, because this world is opening up to some new creatures. This lady is at home visiting family in Vermont, and it's her turn to go up and stock up the wood because it's cold out there. They want to be warm, y'all. When she looks up and she looks out into the trees, y'all, she sees this unbelievable sight. You won't believe it, y'all.
Okay,
Listen,
no
check this out.
fucking joke. I'm loading up wood.
Look how scared she is.
And I look up, and this is what I see. Wait for
Look
it.
at this.
Look at that thing.
Look in the shadow, y'all. Look at this. Look at this.
Why does it look like a goddamn Yeti?
It looks like a.
It really does. Look at that arm. If that's real, look at the hand. You see how long that arm was? If that's real? Are these the beasts of the earth the Bible talk about? The Bible talks about it's not just the animals, but something else. Is it all of the mythical creatures? Are they a part of this system somehow, you know? I wonder. But look at the size of that thing, man. It's obviously some kind of a Yeti, Bigfoot, size of that arm. Like, if that's real. And she's sitting there talking and just turns around and shows it, right? So let's check this out again real quick.
And she looks out to the trees, y'all. She sees this unbelievable sight. You won't believe it, y'all.
Show us.
Fucking joke. I'm loading up wood.
Look how scared she
And
is.
I look up, and this is what I see. Wait for
Look
it.
at this. Look in the shadow, y'all. Look at this. Look at this.
It's crazy, right? If it's true, if it's real, it's a heck of a catch. This is a weird new technology I thought I'd share. Eye polish. Have the ladies heard about this? Apparently it's a color changing eye polish. It's supposed to be all the rage. It pairs with an app on your phone.
You have 400 colors that you can change anytime, anywhere. When you wake up in the morning, and you have a beige outfit for work, you change your color of your nails to beige. At night, you go out on a date, you have a red dress up, you change your color of your nails to red. You can do that thousands of times, over and over, on demand, whenever you want. All you need is our nails and an iPhone app.
It's incredible. It's one of the first ever digital manicures, and the thing I hate about getting my nails done is that by the time they're done, I don't like the color, I want to change, I fix the wrong...
So there you go, ladies. What do you think? Is this a product you'd be interested in? What do you think? Let us know. It's okay. Don't be shy. Still a long way to Christmas, but I'm sure there's a birthday in there somewhere. Officials warn of possible monkeys on the loose in North St. Louis City. So that's all I've seen on this so far. I think I've got more on this for Monday. We'll look more into it Monday. 4 monkeys on the loose. There's the loony bin driving by. This one's really interesting. This is this young man said he heard from a friend, a Venezuelan security guard, but listen to this crazy story. It does sound like some kind of a sci-fi action film, but in real life, you know.
A security guard that was protecting Maduro has spoken, and you got to hear what he said. It's in Spanish, but I'll translate. Also, Trump announced that, the cartels, they're going after him in Mexico. The whole vibe of Latin America has changed because of what happened in Venezuela. And now that we're getting first-hand accounts from people that were there, the soldier says they didn't hear him coming. He says the Americans had technology superior to anything they've ever seen. Everything that they were using for radar, for anything, was completely taken offline. They had drones, and the drones were taking out bases and taking out things faster. They didn't have no technology. They've never had to fight against drones. He also talks about that there was only 8 helicopters. There was only 20 men that were sent in, and those 20 men killed hundreds of their men, and none of those soldiers were injured. He talks about it felt like they were firing 300 rounds a minute. Nothing they've ever seen, nothing that they can compete with. And then he also talks to the fact that the Americans had some kind of sonic shock boom that was sent out, and everybody immediately started bleeding profusely out of their nose. They couldn't even gather themselves because whatever was sent at them made them fall to their knees and vomit blood out of their mouth and out of their noses. They were incapacitated immediately. He says he never wants to go through that again, doesn't want to have to fight with the Americans again. He's sending warnings to everybody out there that you think you can fight the Americans. You don't even know what their weaponry is like and what they're capable of. 20 men took out hundreds, and that's starting to spread all through Latin America. And now they're not saying if you want me, come and get me anymore. They're like, oh shit. Especially after Trump says, hey, Mexico, you're on the list.
Oh boy, like I said, man, it's moving fast, isn't it? That's pretty crazy to hear. It is like a sci-fi type movie. Speaking of sci-fi movies, here's another one. This is from TikTok News. Dazzling pink sky in Birmingham during a snowstorm. So another example of another one of these skies changing color. Pink skies over Birmingham set social media abuzz. Unusual sight. West Midlands. Right, there you go. Pink sky as it is. If you're into that kind of thing. It says, remember when they made a movie about Greenland being one of the only places on Earth that'll survive the coming apocalypse.
Gonna hit us.
He gets the message. They head to Greenland, you know, and then I haven't seen the movie. I'm picking up on a little bit of what I'm seeing. Need to see it, I guess. There's part 2. I guess the first one was apparently pretty good. It says thousands of Christians did a walk for Jesus Christ in the Philippines. This world is turning to Christ. Love to see it. Nice scene too. Beautiful. Look at that. Brothers and sisters. See you soon. Love it. Isn't that beautiful? See you soon, friends. Family. Family forever. This man explains the very dark future of iPad children. He's got some solid points here. See what you think.
What happens when an entire generation is raised on screen? We're finding that out right now.
No. No. No.
Called iPad kids, and the future doesn't look good. Right across the Western world, more and more children are being pacified with tablets and phones. For parents, it's easy. Hand them a screen, the tantrums stop. But that short-term peace comes with a long-term cost you should be aware of. These kids are developing dependency. If you try and take that device away, they will melt down, and it's not just crankiness, it's withdrawal. This is an addiction. Even Steve Jobs, the man behind Apple, famously said that he had limited his kids' use of iPads. He knew the risks, and today we're seeing exactly why he was being so cautious. Multiple studies show that heavy screen time in children is linked to higher rates of anxiety, attention problems, and reduced emotional regulation. Kids glued to devices struggle more with patience, boredom, and basic coping skills. Their brains are getting wired for instant gratification. Dopamine hits from flashing colors and endless scrolling. Real life seems slow, dull, and even unbearable in comparison. But the damage does not stop there. These children are missing out on the building blocks of a real-world experience. Running through the grass, climbing trees, discovering bugs, learning how to socialize face to face. Instead of learning how to handle conflict, make friends, or explore their surroundings, they're trapped in digital loops of cartoons, games, and apps designed to keep them hooked. These iPads are a drug for these children. And teachers have noticed the drastic change. Far shorter attention spans, more frustration in classrooms.
These kids have so much screen time, their brains don't work. Like, talk about the iPad stare. This is them 24/7.
Less curiosity, less creativity. Kids who can swipe before they can speak, but can't sit still for more than 5 minutes. And the hard truth behind it all is many parents have become dependent too. The iPad has become the babysitter, a substitute for human engagement, an easy way to calm your child down. And while it may buy some quiet time at home, it robs children of the very skills they'll need to function as adults.
Yeah, exactly. You know, why not bring out some of the old school games that are still around, that are fun to play, like Monopoly, you know, stuff like that, or Battleship, and, you know, real games they can sit around and play with each other, you know. Have to work out real-world situations through the game. I mean, it's good for kids. It's good for them. Says X is soon to be banned in the United Kingdom within days. This is posted yesterday. Ofcom's next steps on Grok should come in days, not weeks. Secretary of Technology says. Wow, isn't that something? They're actually going to try and do it.
Give X to make sure that you can't make controversial or obscene images behind a paywall. How long is the government going to give X to stop that?
Well, I expect Ofcom to take its next steps in days, not weeks. The government is crystal clear. We want those images taken down. They are despicable, they are abhorrent, and we will ensure that the full force of the powers of the law that we have given Ofcom, we want to see those used.
Are there any steps that could be, well outline some of those steps. What can Ofcom do? Just explain to people, what are the measures and powers available to Ofcom?
We are determined to ensure women and girls are as safe online as we want them to be safe in the real world.
So see, more of the nonsense, as you know, they always go that route with the wokeism stuff, and it's about the women or about the disabled or the children or whatever it is, but it's always to do these authoritarian type moves, right? And ultimately shutting down free speech. They don't want people talking openly about these things happening. Pope Leo calls for an end to Orwellian anti-free speech laws. Okay, nice. Is that just for the cameras? Says incredible, rising Hollywood star Gavin Casalegno recites Bible for his followers. I've never heard of this young man, but that's cool. I'm glad. He seems like a nice kid. He's got a following. Good, man. I love that he's doing this for the young ones.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I have a word from the Lord, and I'm going to read some scripture to you, and we're going to love it. Ready? Ready? Go. 1 John 5, 14 through 15. And this is the confidence that we have toward him, the Lord, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the request that we ask of him. So I feel like people in their prayer life aren't praying like they're being heard. They're praying like it's a job or something that they should do or something that is required of them because they're a Christian. And I feel like that's so false, and there's so much power in praying knowing that it's being heard and that the Lord is writing it down over your life. For instance, this morning, I prayed a prayer like, Lord, teach me what it means to be a friend of you. I want to be a friend of you. And literally just had coffee with someone, and they were like, yeah, I've been really praying with the Lord, and I just feel the Lord ushering me to learning about being a friend of him. And I was like, what? Like, this is the first time meeting this guy, and it was crazy. Like, the Lord was just confirming things and confirming my prayers, and it was at that moment I knew, like, wow, like, my prayers are being heard, and it's so important to pray.
All right, so just want to move on. I thought it was a nice message, and I'm grateful that there's young people out there like him reaching a young audience and talking about Jesus. It's good to see. It says, watch this practicing witch encountered Jesus. This is a pretty wild one, too.
Magic, like dark magic. I won't go into detail what it is, don't like to say it, but yeah, probably bordering on Satanism at that point, because I wanted revenge. And this light walks in my room, and it comes right up to the table, and I said, I'm not interested. I'm not talking to you. Go away. And I felt this. I don't know how to really explain this, but a love I'd never felt before. I said, what are you then? Who are you? Why won't you leave me alone? And it just said, I am. And I said, right, whatever. I went to sleep, woke up the next day, and I felt different the next morning. I didn't feel so like vengeful and hateful. I was in the front room. My son was watching telly. I put on a film called Prince of Egypt. Bear in mind, not religious at this point, so I didn't really know what it was referring to. And then I heard the bush. Moses was talking to the bush, and he said, who are you? And the bush said, I am. So I went back and watched it, and obviously the bush is God, it's Jesus Christ. And my body just filled with like goosebumps, but like not normal goosebumps, like something actually filled my body. I'll be honest with you, my business was in witchcraft. I had an online presence being a witch. The last thing I wanted to do was come online and start saying that Jesus Christ is real. It was not good for business. So I entered a state of panic. I thought I couldn't deny what I'd just experienced. There was no way. I mean, not only did he save my life, it all kind of clicked at that point. I was like, oh my goodness, that's Jesus Christ.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. So cool to hear. Always. You know what, I'm looking down, man. We're right at about 4 hours. Jeepers, right? We'll be done here soon, though. We got a few more videos to go. Just wanted to say thanks to you. A shout out to you. Over 900 awesome, cool, interesting, critically thinking individuals here. So always truly and genuinely, though, I appreciate your precious time here hanging out on a Friday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon, sorry. Sorry is always nice. We did hang out Friday night, so check that show out if you missed it last night. Tamara, thanks again for all you do. Thanks again for following me on Subscribestar. Definitely best place to go. Thanks for all that have been there for so long. And thanks to the members here. We did a live show Thursday night, just a chill session for about an hour. So thank you again for the members and Rumble Wells, of course, and anybody who supports the work. Whichever way you choose, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. It's good to have you here. Still got some videos to go, so don't leave yet. Weird, strange, and interesting. This right here says, let's check this out.
Y'all, what are the odds that Jim Morrison's wife wrote stories about the Crusaders? And not just that, her story is about how they were saved by interdimensional beings who were non-human intelligence. During the Middle Ages. So she writes this whole story about these knights who were caught up in a storm in the ocean, and they were facing terrible odds because they had kind of surrounded, you got France on one side, England on the other. They're trying to make it to Scotland. And then they get swept up into another dimension where they meet other beings that explain that there are many dimensions, there are many worlds, there are many different types of beings. And Jim Morrison's wife wrote this. Jim Morrison, who passed in Paris, France. And her story is about a French knight who went to Scotland to get away from the same people who took out the Cathars. They even mention the Cathars. She mentions the Cathars. Y'all, what are the odds? Something's going on. That's what I say. Keep your head.
All right. Thanks, lady. Interesting. Kind of an ASMR approach she's taking. Says just in, the U.S. Supreme Court's on the verge of a 9-0 ruling in favor of banning men and women's sports. So good news. Logic like. All right, we got a few from Mavi UFO Alarm. I wanted to share here. Always some good catches. Good paranormal catches. Oh yeah, there's a real good one on here. I don't know if I posted. I thought I'd posted earlier, but I hadn't. Oh, this is an old one. My bad. That is an old one. All right. Now we're to the newer stuff. Let's see. Yeah, there's this right here. This almost looks like a weird kind of glowing city in the sky to me. What do you think? It's in Germany from January 2nd, 2026. Yeah, wait till you get close to that. Look at that. Doesn't it look like a half building, like a building with a chunk taken out or something? To me it does. Glowing gold building floating in the sky. It appears to have a piece missing out of it, but maybe it's just something to do with the camera. Pixels. There's a good shot. Look at that. See, it looks like I could see it being a structure. Maybe it's just for some reason you can't see that leg or that part. I don't know. Put any filters on that? Is that again? So there you go. There's one on there I wanted to share on this one. Thanks, Mavi. Good job. You did a good job. And he's actually got a really cool giant, perhaps, video up, I believe, for this week. Here's a real strange one. It's filmed in Florida.
And YouTube, look at it, man. People gotta see this. It's not even making a sound.
Hey, mister, what is that? Misty.
Look at that.
What in there? I'm recording it. What the hell is that?
The portal? Looks like something should be up in, quote, space, doesn't it? Like a capsule.
No idea.
Someone said a hologram. Someone said it's a castle. Weather balloon, someone says. Whatever it is, it's a really cool capture. You don't see this kind of a thing often. I haven't ever seen anything exactly like this. That's why, again, I like this Mavi channel. You always find things that surprise you. Here's a close-up shot of it. Look at that. I mean, it looks like metal. It looks like a structure, like something that was built. You know, it doesn't look like a spirit. Something glowing, like orb and shape-shifting or whatever. Weird lights. Weird. Things that make you go, if you will. Hopefully you will. Hopefully you did. I think that was it on this one too. There's only a couple this week. There's this one here, which is really strange. It says a crack appeared in the sky, and it does look like almost Truman Show, like a crack appeared in the sky. It was crazy. This is in Miami, Florida, January 6th, 2026. Look at this. It's a short clip, but look at that. Does that not look like there's some kind of a crack in the sky? Like, you know, there's the dome, some kind of scratch in the dome. They put it sideways here, but it really does. It looks like a rip, doesn't it? It's very strange. Sky ice, somebody said. Sky ice. There it is. The original is pretty interesting. Look at that. Very strange. Very strange. You know what, though? Yeah, I think that's it. Actually, that's it. That's the last one. So, hey, we did good, though. Right over 4 hours. Ain't bad. That's a good run. Chubbs was here with us most of the show. He's being a good boy for the most part. If anybody cares. Some of you do. Thank you for that. Some of y'all send stuff at the P.O. Box for Chubbs. He loves it, man. Thank you. I always make sure he gets his treat. A lot of people donate treat money to him, so thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all, man. Your love of animals, your love of Chubbs. Little sidekick over here. But yeah, man, great having you guys. Once again, always thank you, man. I think we covered a lot tonight. Got a lot, the important stuff out of the way, some interesting stuff. You never quite know, do you? Right? Try to be a wild card. It's fun that way, you know? Keep it interesting. But no, thank you guys. Love you, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Tamara, for all you do. I always want to share a bit about salvation before we leave. Just in case, you know, you haven't accepted that free gift of salvation, just understand salvation's found in no one else, for there's no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved, which is Jesus Christ. Through the Son's beautiful sacrifice to the Father, his precious blood sacrifice covers your sins, past, present, and future. If you accept the free gift, and it seals your soul till your day of redemption. He's coming for his bride again, so it's sometime soon. It's our blessed hope. Many of us wait for it. We pray for it. Even pray to be found worthy to escape the horrors coming upon this earth, which are quickly on the way. And we watch a lot of this being built. So please trust in him. Confess with your mouth. Believe in your heart. You know that his story is true. Just admit you're a sinner. You need to be saved. And says he saved us not because of righteous things we'd done, but because of his mercy. He saved us through the washing of rebirth and renewal by the Holy Spirit. Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, confess with your mouth. Believe in your heart. Just know he really is the creator. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God and are justified by his grace as a gift through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God put forward as a propitiation by his blood to be received by faith. Love it. True though, man, that's it. You know, it's just through belief. You know, understand, believe. He's the true creator. He'll fill you with the Holy Spirit. He came here in the flesh as Jesus, lived a perfect life, died a horrible death, was buried, resurrected 3 days later, ascended to heaven, and he's coming back for his bride, which is you now. If you accept, please do. Or you have to go through the hard times. You can still find him. It's going to be much more difficult. It's going to be a bad time. So just please trust in him, okay? Not to scare you, but it's what it is. It's warning, And just make sure you really believe, understand and believe, Ask him to help you read the Bible, whatever it is. Just stay with him, walk with him, get to know him. All right, on that note, let me say a prayer too. Heavenly Father, always thanks so much for the platforms. Thanks so much for all the wonderful people here. Thanks for Tamara for all this time she's put in. So thank you very much for her dedication around here. And again, for just the wonderful people, the family all around here. And I know a lot of people are praying for, medical issues and health issues, and there's some fear out there still, and there's relationship problems and worldly type things. But just pray more and more, Lord, you help all of us to break away from these worldly things, more focus on you, and listen to your voice in all of these situations, because, we know it's there, just got to listen. And thank you for guiding us also in that way. I know you're always there. Just help us. Sometimes we need a little encouragement from you and guidance. So thank you for that. And thanks for helping us in this world to help you in whichever way you choose, and giving us the courage we need for that, for those missions. We love you, Lord. I pray we're all found worthy to escape the things coming upon this earth. And we love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you. All right, let me jump over here with you guys now. Good to see you. Thanks again for being here, y'all. Always a pleasure. Truly wonderful to have you here. There you go. It's kind of nice. Harvest time, right? Harvest time soon. Yeah, thanks again. Good to see you, Jay Bundy, Tamara, Chili Peen, Takalata. Rob's in LA. Good to see you, man. Maya Belohim. Hey, and thank you for your kind donations, messages also today. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. Very sweet. Sorry if I missed anybody. Thanks, Discerna. I think I may have missed. No, there we go. Yeah, thank you, man. And Scaleworks and everybody else. Anyone I missed. Sorry if I missed your name or anything. Sorry about that, man. Sometimes I don't really have time to watch all of the live chat, but I try as much as I can. Thanks, Mike McKenzie. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope the new job's going good. All right. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Love you, man. It's a great brother in Christ right there. Let's see what else we got up in here. Jody, Jola, True Talk, Elon, Alexander. Good to see you. Chris Drick. Always a pleasure. Roll the losing dice. What a name. Good to see you. Established 1983, Scaleworks, Gina MH, Scott Beck. Thanks, everybody. Lucia, Jajanu. So upcoming next, excuse me, Monday, the Uncensored Show over on the Mean Green website, Grumble, 2 p.m. Central Standard, KJ Osborne channel. Check it out later. If you can't see it live, please do. There's always stuff I feel is important. I like to share over there. It's a little mix of different information on different subjects. It's just another one of these shows, basically, with just a little bit more focus on some subjects. So I hope you can check it out, man. Thank you. Then I'll be posting other things this week. I've got some music videos on the way. Those will be everywhere but YouTube, of course. And then I've got a video I can put on YouTube coming up soon. And I'll post a show for Friday night for sure. Cool. Okay, right. Hey, so follow and subscribe. Star those that do, thank you. Thanks again for everything, you guys. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you here in just a couple days, all right? Thanks. Take care.